All right, yeah. Now, previously on Cocked Eye, after being hired as to a posse to save a kidnapped teenager, our heroes made their way into the Green Mountain National Forest, where they discovered an evil worse than the extortion. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. After hijacking a truck full of dynamite, blowing up a sniper and with said dynamite, blowing up another kidnapper with even more dynamite, they continued the search for the missing girl when they arrived at a dig site. The good Doctor Who approached in the truck along with Eddie and Pendrick staying amidst the trees. Doctor Who was promptly captured, discovered 3 prisoners, including the still alive Jane Strong. Eddie, taking more dynamite, blows up the entire dig site, creating the perfect distraction. Pendrick then rushed forward, throwing Doctor Who his shotgun, and they were able to defeat the guards and escape with Jane, Miller, and Harris, the missing hunters. As Doctor Who, Eddie, and Pendrick made good their escape, you saw a monstrous form and a crystal pulled from the dig site into the lake and disappear into the water. Our heroes now find themselves at Miskatonic University in the office of the Dean. Dean Schnabelabba. Dean Schnabelabba has brought you into his office because he has a favor to ask of you, and he knows Doctor Who, and of course the journalist he's had a little contentious relationship with, but they're professionals, and he's asked you into his office for help. So that's where we're going to...
More bagels.
More bagels? Well, okay, I'll talk to Seven, and I guess some more bagels brought in there, but that's not the reason I called you in here today. The reason I called you in here today is because one of our professors is missing. Semester's starting, and he has not arrived for classes. He's got a full class schedule booked, and without him, our university's really in a spot, because he is department chair, and we need him back. I need you all to go out and find him.
What was the last scene?
Excellent question. I can see, Doctor Who, you're the educated leader of this bunch. And, Dr. Rabanaba looks at the rest of these guys and is like, oh boy. Whoa. Well, he's over at a small town called Blackwater Creek. He was investigating a early settlement in the 1800s called Cade's Rest. The explorer, Cade, more like settler, came through here and was one of the first settlers to come through and throw some buildings out here. This is yes, we have a picture of him, and he kind of fumbles in his pockets and looks around, and he produces a newspaper clipping of Dr. Rhodes. So you guys will recognize him when you see him.
That's for boating?
I'm sorry?
So that's for boating? It's part of the tree. He's like, oh hey, isn't that? Yeah, you're right. We recognize him right away. Alright, how much are you paying?
Well, this is a favor. As part of the university, we expect you to help the community on occasion.
Alright, but was he working on the cult or anything of the...
Well, as far as I know, it's a standard archaeological dig.
We had some recent sketchy...
Oh, like what? Please elaborate, Doctor Who. Your tenure is almost up, so we have to go over your professionalism a little more closely. Oh, no. I understand that you guys were in the Green Mountain National Forest a few weeks back, helping out.
It was. We got paid for that too. But...
That's up to the prerogative of those who are in doing business with you.
Well, you guys are having that banner. What do I know about all these archaeological digs?
What do you know about what?
The archaeology digs going on.
Go ahead and roll. See what you know.
See what these guys are telling me. Probably not. 65.
65? What's your skill?
40.
40? You don't know. You know that.
That's only the first roll.
That's right. I like that tank. That's cool. All right, so with that failed roll of some of the newspaper stories regarding some of the archaeological digs, you are aware that Blackwater Creek did have a dig for a few months. However, it seems like there was no follow-up. You know that news just kind of, with the initial story you saw in the newspaper, that's all you've heard about it.
How long has it been since the last?
You know it's been about 2 or 3 months. You're not positive. It's been a few months, though.
Is there any books on what he was doing? Is there like
Are you asking the director, the dean?
Is there any books?
Well, I'm sure if you go to the library, they'll be able to help you out with, I mean, this is archaeology.
Can we go to his office?
Absolutely. Have a good time. And the dean kind of just like ushers you out and starts reading his papers.
I want my bagel, by the way.
It's on its way. I can know I heard you. And he beeps his intercom. Beep. Clarence, bring some bagels and stat. And bring some cream cheese as well. Beep.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Now, if you want to come back after you've done looking through his office, I understand, because Clarence is a fool and an idiot and completely incompetent. Honestly, I'm not even sure why he's working here, but
Who got him hired there?
honestly, it was nepotism. It's his grandmother. Yes.
Family.
Yes, one of the other professor's family.
And he just studied. Did he like go to school for it, or did he? Just,
He's a legitimate archaeologist. He's a doctorate. That's why we hired him. Are you questioning my hiring practices?
No, we're just saying.
I thought we already
if you got
let that
hired
roll.
by family.
We're having this argument
Usually
as
family
we're
just
walking down the
wants
hall.
him
Come on
to
now.
get out of their hair.
He's waving at you as you guys leave his office.
I'm going to go to the.
We're heading to
Keep
the...
talking.
Well, that was something new.
You don't have any dynamite, right?
Of course you do.
Let him go to the office. I want to go
Wait,
to the
you-
library, see what
No.
I can find.
Oh God.
If there's any kind of writing for any of this.
All right, Pendrick's making his way to the library. What are you two doing? You going to the office?
My office.
All right, you guys make it to the office. You walk in. You see, it's pretty standard. It's small, humble, but there's books all over the walls. You notice that a lot of them are. It's a very Indiana Jones feel. He's got like a skull on the desk. He's got a magnifying glass, some kind of telescoping instrument. You're not sure what it is.
Does he have a safe or?
No, nothing obvious. You can roll if you want to investigate.
So I went to the library. I can do a lot better over there.
So you're in the library. Go ahead and make a library use roll.
68, I actually passed that one.
Wow,
Barely,
16.
but- No, 68 on a 70.
Oh, okay. Wow, your library use is really good.
I failed.
You failed?
I
Got
barely
88.
passed. See, I barely passed, which is why I wanted to do that versus just try to see what these dice.
All right, with that, I'm going to say you.
See nothing.
Nah, he got a good roll. You're actually going to know. You're going to know some of the stories surrounding some of the native Indian tribes at this location. So Blackwater Creek is old, and it's noted in the library that Blackwater Creek, the first settlers of Cade's Rest, made contact with an Indian tribe known as the Sikkayok tribe. Of all the people, of the Miskatonic Valley, the most mysterious and feared was the Sikkayok tribe, known to white settlers as the Children of the Black Earth. They have not been seen since colonial days, but stories of them still live on in folklore. While some of the stories of the Sikkayok no doubt have their basis in fact, many have doubtless been embellished by the passage of time or tainted by native superstitions. The assertion that the tribe would conduct raids and take captives who they would offer as sacrifices to the great spirits is richly plausible. While human sacrifices are among the Indian people is a rarity, the evil reputation and reported depravity of the Sikkayok was cause of their shunning from all neighboring tribes. These tales of murder simply form part of the tapestry. Their ferocity and bloodlust is the most likely root of the reputation of their warriors as never dying on the battlefield and being immune to all mortal weapons. Where their legend becomes pure fancy is the detail of the tribe being ruled by an undying council of elders who were never seen outside their sacred cave. These elders were spoken of as wise and terrible with great magic and gifts of healing. Similarly fantastic is the description of the tribe as brothers of snakes and to the vermin of the field. No stories or legends survive to explain the disappearance of the tribe, but the most likely explanation remains that they were either exterminated by their neighbors or colonial settlers, or that exposure to civilizing influences led them to accept an absorption into a larger tribe of the valley. That's what you find out. You two are rummaging through his books, and you're like looking for like a secret pull book that swings the library door open. It's all just books, and it's simple.
So you said there was a skull on the desk, right?
There's a skull on the desk.
Can I take it?
You're still a dick. Really?
Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and pick up the skull, and you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, these pockets are too small. Do you have like a bag on me? You gonna put it in your bag, or are you just gonna walk out with the skull?
It's gonna be like Roman and Juliet, like
You're walking around with the skull. You picked up the skull.
You just pretend you're part of the
Macbeth.
Macbeth. All right. Anyways, is there anything on his desk that's not? Well, it used to be school. Any papers, anything I can look through?
But yeah, his thought process, and I kind of bought into it, was that Trump's government was so weak that it might just be a 4-year stance.
I'm gonna say you find a drafted note lying on the desk from dear Professor Rhodes, and it reads, "Dear Mr. McTarvish," Mr. McTarvish is Dean Flavenabba. I am very sorry to inform you that I've been unavoidably delayed in my plans to return to the university. While, as we have discussed in the past, the dig site has proven fruitless, this is some minor work to be carried out before I can extricate myself from this area. I do anticipate returning to Arkham by the end of August at the latest. Again, please accept my deepest apologies for the inconvenience that this extension may cause. In case you are considering sending any members of the field team back to the site, I would recommend against this in the strongest possible terms. As you have probably heard before, it saddens me to say that one of the local farmers has taken a strong dislike to our presence here, and he seems to have some rough associates. While the field team consists of Abigail and me, we probably represent sufficiently little intrusion to be objectionable. But I am sorry to say that the increase in the numbers may prove provocative. Abigail sends her loves, and we both look forward to returning to Arkham and joining you and Mary for a bridge evening as soon as I can. I am very sorry, your friend, Henry.
This was on his desk?
That was on his desk, so it's clear that he tried to pen this and hand it off to the dean at some point to excuse his absence or why he was going to be missing.
But it didn't get to him?
Did not get to him.
Can I, does he have like a secretary?
You look around and it's pretty obvious that this professor is just your standard, no secretary, just office hours kind of person.
Can I go to the? There has to be like a mail room, right?
You make your way over to the mailroom. Yes.
Is there any information in the library that we just like someone that would be more recent on the same area?
So you look around and you see.
Local expert of the area, whatever.
So you look around and you're trying to see if there's any more rumors about or
Someone that will know the area that might be up to date, what's going on, but even more know more of the history. Maybe they live right there.
You're going to ask the librarian if there's anyone who knows more about the area?
Yeah.
Okay, you walk up to her. She kind of looks down her nose and pulls her glasses down. Yes, how can I help you?
I'm looking for information if there's any locals that would be more up to date on cage rest, I think you said.
Cage wrestling?
No, cage rest.
I'm sorry, sir. I only know Olympic wrestling. Cage wrestling sounds terribly vulgar.
I said cage rest.
Oh, cage rest. Oh, yes. Of course. Oh, silly me. Well, I know that Professor Rhodes was digging. He was conducting some kind of survey of the area, but I'm not sure what you mean. More information? That's all I know, I'm afraid.
You don't know of any experts that would be over in that area?
That would be good too.
Professor Rhodes was the only person I know of, and she goes back to like stacking books. Do you leave? All right. So
Meet them at wherever the best meeting point would be.
Hendrick's walking in front.
Sorry.
We're good. Eddie, what are you doing?
I'm assuming I'm in the mail room with them.
Yes.
Mess all the mail up.
You're messing all the mail up.
Why? We're trying to find things.
Go ahead and roll for messing all the mail up.
Odd 4, he does very well.
40?
No, odd 4.
Odd 4?
Yeah.
I'm going to say not only do you like switch every single mail perfectly to completely disastrously ruin someone's day, it's obviously going to take nothing gets damaged. Nothing is like conspicuously out of place, but you can tell all this mail is going to go to the wrong spot and someone's day just got wrecked. Eddie successfully ruined someone's day.
A bunch of people, actually.
Yeah, everyone's just going to, I haven't received that letter. Sorry.
No, I received the envelope, but not that letter.
Check's in the mail, I swear.
All right, I want to talk to the person who deals with the letter. The
Mailroom clerk?
Yeah, and I'm gonna show him the like word. Why did you? Who sent this letter? Like to the office.
Never seen it.
Damn it!
Do you work here?
Yes, I've been forced to do this.
What building you work in? What department? You know, stay right here. I'll be right back. And he walks away.
You come back here, sir.
And he pulls around the corner. And you can tell he's like, he's probably going to get security.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck it. While he's doing that, I'm gonna go check his desk for fast.
Okay, so you go back to Professor Rhodes' desk?
No, the guy.
Oh, the mail clerk's desk. Okay, what are you looking for?
Well, I'm gonna see if there's any notes or written things that the reason why he didn't send it to the dean, but instead send it to the.
Okay, you open up his desk and you find nothing but doodles of naked women. It's just like really crude drawing of like big circular breasts and big
I
like
take these
stupid
papers
lips.
and
Yes.
I'm going to the dean.
Okay, you grab the papers and you're going to the dean.
Dude isn't even a good artist.
Eddie's criticizing the quality of the art next to you. I believe the express are uneven. It's gross.
Hello, dean. I found this and I gave him the letter.
So you burst into the dean's office?
Yes.
Oh, what's the making of this? This is ridiculous.
Just look at it.
Clarence, call security.
What? Anyways,
What does it mean? What are you doing in my office? Well, what does this say attract or flow from me? This is vulgar.
no. I put the I gave him the letter.
You're giving him what?
The letter.
The leather.
Letter.
Letter. Ah, okay.
It's like, did you get this?
What are you doing back here so soon? No, sorry. Clarence, cancel security. No. And he takes a moment, he reads through the letter. This is just unacceptable. I didn't receive this, but all the same, I need you to go out there because it's been more than, we're past August. We're already at the new semester. The entire 3 months have gone by. How old is this letter?
We found it in his office.
This is in June?
I went to the mail room, and when I tried to ask the clerk there, he just got upset, went to, I guess, get security, like he was trying to hide something.
No,
Like he doesn't do his job, and I went to go, honestly, I went through his desk to see what he hides and stuff like that. I found he's useless. He's just doodling
Well,
and
that's
doing nothing.
a terrible violation of privacy. I would ask you to be a professional for people at their work. My good man.
Hey,
Do you have no decency?
I'm looking for a man, and if he's alive, awesome.
This is not your purview. I need you to go out to Blackwater Creek.
Fine, but at least find out who delivered the mail to the professors.
Get right on that. And he rolls his eyes and goes back to his work.
Where's my bagel? I leave. I just leave. I just say that and I leave.
Okay. So you guys are going to pile in the car and head out to
I'm a
Blackwater
tenure,
Creek?
whatever.
Do we hit the town, talk to the mail clerk, see if there's anyone out that lives out that area?
You want to head out to town and what?
Whoever, the mail carrier, Pony Express, whatever. That,
Mail carrier is gone. You feel like he's being harassed. It's a toxic work environment.
I mean, it's not his
He
fault.
doesn't know how to do his job.
He's bad at his job. That is true.
No, not the one at the university.
Okay.
When you go into town, you got someone that just delivers mail to anybody out wherever they're at.
So you want to go to the post office?
Yes.
All right, you guys want to jump in the car and go to the post office? Spencer's like, hey guys, I know who gets to the bottom of this guy. We can find Professor Road at the post office.
That's
So
not
there's more for me
exactly
to
it,
destroy.
but that's not exactly it, but it could lead us to more information. If
Well,
people living out that
well, he
way.
goes to the post store. I'm gonna go get some coffee.
You're getting coffee at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna relax and wait till he's done.
Dr. Hughes is like sipping on a nice black roast, nice dark roast. Eddie, you going with Pendrick?
Yes.
All right, Eddie and Pendrick, you guys. Yes, how may I help you?
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt your day, but we're trying to find out if there's anybody currently residing anywhere near Cage Rest.
Well, I have no idea what Kate's Rest is. I'm sorry.
In catastrophic rates, my understanding,
Oh, you mean?
for example, the number
I remember from my history books, Cade's Rest was an old settlement back in the early days of Boston, outside in the rural areas.
Trying to see if there's anybody currently living out in that vicinity. Not necessarily at Cage Rest, but in that vicinity.
Well, the only town I know about out there is going to be Blackwater Creek, name of the town out there. That's probably where you want to head.
That's where we'll be heading. Thank you.
You're welcome. And he goes back to putting all the mail in the different cubby holes.
Are you gonna mess him up?
I don't think he has time this
I don't
time.
have the time to. I wish I did.
He's literally right there. You'd be like in front of him putting up the mail
Hey man, if you,
while he's
if
working.
you go a good roll, you can do it.
You could, yeah. I mean, hey, let me help you. I swear, I'm helping. I'm helping you. You could pull it off.
You just mess up everyone else's lives.
All right, you guys making your way out to hopping in the car, making your way out to the
I
town.
see them.
Go and get him.
I get one
from
more
the
espresso,
saloon.
and then I was like, "Thank you, doll. Here's a 20." Fucking
Oh, thank you, sir. You're so generous.
Are you too beautiful, girl? I need it.
Oh, stop it. Yes, you're nice. And there's like a small wisp of steam going up from Dr. Who's coffee.
What are we transposing generations here?
All right. Well, you guys are all cracking jokes in the car. Man, you should have seen that waitress. She's so cute.
You gotta show off sometimes, you know? Make them feel special.
All right. I'm going to say you guys go ahead and hop in the car and you start making your way out to Blackwater Creek.
Can we buy some dynamite before we get there?
No.
Yes, you can.
You can? Really? Do you have the money for it?
Eddie's suggesting we make a stop for dynamite. What are you guys doing? Dr. Who's like, fine, shrugging.
I'm gonna get outvoted either way. So
We'll go to a, the only place I can think of that has dynamite is a big size mine or something. Is there any mines in this neighborhood?
They're digging. They might be doing some blood exploding.
Yeah, we can.
Tracks.
I'm gonna go get ammo and butt shots and a shotgun. Can I still have my shotgun?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I want to get butt shots and then this spray.
All right. I'm going to say you guys walk into a general store for the sake of expediency, sake of time. You guys go into the general store. You buy as many. How many rounds of shotgun shells do you want?
2 boxes each
2 boxes each.
of the buckshots, the big ones,
Okay.
and the little pebble ones.
All right. So you want 6 shells of shotguns. All right. Go ahead and write that down. Dr. Who's kind of like getting the right gauge, getting the right shot.
Can I get a pencil or a pen?
Yeah, no problem.
like I said, none of us have pencils, so even the information I got earlier is gonna be fun to remember. But
Yeah, no problem, no problem. And Eddie, how much dynamite did you want to buy? Dare I ask?
10 sticks of dynamite
10
and 1
sticks?
backpack.
And 1 backpack. All right, so the
So that's
clerk.
like only one use if you get a good roll.
no, this Eddie we're talking about is not even half a use on a good roll.
All right, so you pick up your 10 sticks of dynamite in your backpack. You pick up your 6 boxes of ammo. Is there anything at the general store you want to buy, Pendrick?
I'm gonna assume I'm already good to go.
I'm gonna get a knife, like a hunting knife,
Okay, you get a Bowie knife.
Thought we already
rope.
had some of this stuff.
and some matches.
All right, sounds good. You guys go ahead and get all that, write it down. I'll go through and figure out how much it costs and let you know.
I will write down the fact that you said I had a pistol last session, so I will write
You have a pistol, I remember that.
I will pick up a Bowie knife because I did need one like that and didn't have one last session.
Oh, no, they're handy. You can definitely want a Bowie knife.
Do you put this in the back?
Although I would be surprised if he doesn't buy all the explosives out of the store.
I'm surprised you can buy explosives here.
Hey, this is 1920s. They just invented dynamite and they want you to have it.
Is this the age of the what's it called?
Age of Aquarius.
You know when the age when it's illegal to drink alcohol?
It is prohibition. That is correct. There is no legal places. There's no bars. There are a bunch of speakeasies, and you can find places to drink, but it is illicit, and you could get in trouble for
I want to go to one
bootlegging.
of theirs.
I'm sorry?
I want to go over there and buy some alcohol.
All right, so you're in the general store. Okay.
Not the general store. We all know that they don't have it.
No, they wouldn't sell you at the
I
general store.
want to go to a dive bar or like out of the
Speakeasy.
place. Yeah, speakeasy.
All right. So you guys make your way from the general store right across the street. Actually, I'm going to say in the basement of the general store is the speakeasy. So you go on down there.
I'll let them do that.
All right, you're going to stay upstairs just in case?
Not only just in case, but I thought about a different little question. Do they have any medicinal alcohol?
At the general store?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll. See if they do.
Question.
Yes.
Do they still,
35.
And in this time period, do they still have cocaine in their Coca-Cola?
Yeah, that's when they actually had cocaine in Coca-Cola.
I think you...
Can I buy
Really
some?
need the Coca-Cola.
You want some Coke?
You buy a Coca-Cola. That sweet, refreshing Coke.
Oh my god.
Give you a little buzz.
It was a roll of 35.
A 35?
Yep.
You go ahead and find alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, 30. It's 80%.
We'll pick up some of that.
All right. You can pick up some rubbing alcohol just in case. Write it down.
Hello, sir. I'm looking for some brandy, some vodka, and some, it's old-fashioned, I know, but some mead.
I'm sorry, you broke up on me.
You guys, okay, just assume you stock up on everything that you want this general store. Okay.
Okay.
You buy alcohol, you buy rubbing alcohol, you buy dynamite. You good?
Yeah, we're good.
No, they gave me an idea, so.
Okay.
So these guys is fraud. I swear, I'm not doing this at all.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Cocaine in it.
You don't have to say it. We all get it.
Cocaine. All right, you guys all pile in the car.
All the older editions of rules, like they
And you start making your way out to Blackwater Creek.
the passing system that they have now, that's a very
I need to have better bookmarks. That's what I'm going to try and improve things for.
still have the
Blackwater Creek lies on a rural road a little east of Dunwich. The least inhospitable route from Arkham or Boston involves more than a day's travel through back roads and dirt tracks of the Miskatonic Valley. The quality of the roads makes it driving difficult at times, slowing the journey down significantly. So this was back in the day where there's no paved roads. You're talking about horse tracks, and there's a lot of potholes, so you got to go slow. Exactly. So you guys are driving along, and you're just trying to take this back roads, and you're like looking at the map, and you're like, damn it, no, we should have made a left at that barn, not a right, man. And you go back,
Who's driving?
make a left. Who is driving? That's a great question.
Are you driving? Yes. I'm drinking.
Eddie's driving. Doctor Who's drinking like a good doctor. He's got that steady hand.
Do you want to drink some? Oh, do you want to drink some?
No, I've got a Coca-Cola.
That's fair. I don't know, I feel like I heard that if you drink Coke first and then the liquor, then you're fine. But if you drink the liquor before the Coke, then you get alcohol bittering and all that stuff.
generally speaking, if you go too spammy,
It's like the whole beer contest. But okay.
That's how you stay hydrated. I think that's a fact. He's a doctor. You got to listen to him. He knows what he's mean. You know what he's talking about.
He's as much of a doctor as I am a journalist.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on what's going on around just in case anything weird's happening while we're driving. Not that it's guaranteed to have anything weird, but you never know.
I'm going to say just as you say that, oh man, nothing weird on here. You see a car coming directly down. It's a one-track road, and you see a car coming head-on for you. And then you see that right after he does.
I take another swig of my drink and say, turn.
Get out of their way.
What are you doing, Eddie?
Fine, 10.
You turn off to the side of the road? Okay, so you turn off. You both, as you approach, you both slow down. You turn off the road to let him go by, and he kind of turns off the road.
Before he goes, it's like, do you want to drink some?
Waving a bottle out here, a bottle of whiskey. Hey, you want a drink, man? I know that's how it worked back in the day. Hey, you want a drink? No, I want a drink. Actually, I remember reading a book like back in that time, and they're just swapping alcohol all the time. I think he got stuck more back then, though, too. Anyway, Cities and Plains, Cormac McCarthy. Check it out. So out of the car gets an older man in his early 50s with a ruddy face and bushy white beard. And he's kind of waving you guys down. He steps out of the car, as you guys are stopping to let him around, and he starts walking over to your car. This old gentleman. You gonna turn the car off?
Sure.
So did you want to drink after us, sir?
Oh, well, I'll have that bottle on over here. Takes it. Oh, dear. No, sir. Oh, my. That's quite a bit spicier than I remember it being.
Yeah, this is the good stuff. I only drink the good stuff.
Yeah, clearly. Oh, man. Civilization and taste. My good man. That's quite tasty. Oh, well, thanks for pulling over. I appreciate it. I don't recognize any of your faces. You're not from around here, are you?
No, we came to find a archaeologist that came around this area.
You came here to find what?
Archaeologists?
Archaeologists? Ah, well, you're going to want to go talk to the Harveys. Professor Rhodes, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes. So show the newspaper?
Yes, dear Professor Rhodes. He was here about a few months back. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him lately, though. I hope he's all right.
Yes, we were trying to check.
You're gonna see it across the board. I mean, every army, can have these issues.
I gotta stop eating one.
Commanders.
Well, that's a common problem, a man gets hungry, I understand. He kind of looks over to you at kind of squinting like manners.
No, but I'm saying like
Doctors, they think they can step all over the rules.
Doctors, damn it. You deserve to. We save lives.
Saved your life.
In this area, you're cutting more people's limbs off than you're saving.
Yeah, that's no kidding. It's more gangrene. Although, actually, they just invented antibiotics and vaccines. So
Yeah, but when's he ever in a hospital where they're going to have anything close to
We have what I want them to have.
The doctor.
He's a field medic.
Doctor.
but there's also a lot of
Yes.
You want some Coca-Cola?
I think I found Eddie's new favorite thing besides dynamite.
I already have some Coke in my bottle.
No, you need to take this Coca-Cola.
Oh, because you're drinking too much?
Just wait.
No.
Alright, give it to the guy then. Maybe he'll enjoy it. Maybe enjoy something sweet.
Do you want some Coca-Cola?
Yeah, I'll take the Coca-Cola, please. Takes the Coke from you and he looks at you and he's like, oh, man, I want to this in a while.
By the way, why did you want to play us down?
Oh, well, thanks for stopping. I just wanted to check on with you and see if you need any help. And, if you're looking for Professor Rhodes, I suggest you head on down to the Harveys. An older farmer couple on the edge of town, and they'll be able to help you out. I believe that Dr. Rhodes was staying with them when he was here himself, and he'll probably be able to give you more information. Me, myself, I'm a veterinarian here, and I've been trying to help out the people more here while I've been in town, but there's a strange pestilence going around. I'm not sure. I've never seen anything like it.
What does it look like?
Well, livestock in general has been agitated, and there's been a number of attacks on farmers, but previously docile cows and pigs. The problem has now reached a stage where some of the farmers are killing and burning their livestock to prevent the pestilence from spreading.
If you have to see like meat, underneath the skin is like some bones.
I've never seen anything like it. There's black pustules all over the things, all over the animals, all parts of their bodies, and it's like they're being eaten alive by some kind of mold. No, I've never seen anything like it, and I'm not sure how to help these people. I can't seem to turn around the disease. No treatment works.
Is it just the animals, or is it happen to be too?
I'm a veterinarian, and I only want to speak to the animals, but if I'm being honest with you, I do fear if contamination might have spread to us humans.
That's a shame. We might have to quarantine the whole town.
Well, I hope it doesn't get to that point. It's not like it's the COVID-19 virus.
Take care of yourself, my friend. And here, have another drink.
Oh, thank you. And, if another individual you might want to talk about, too, is the old Widow Hawkins. She, good God-fearing woman. She also knew Professor Rhodes quite well and might be able to tell you where his whereabouts are.
It's jail, Nope. Really? Okay.
What?
Go.
What?
I said, is she a liquor?
And he kind of blushes at that. Maybe in my younger days, I would have taken a swing at it.
Doctor, what's wrong with you?
I'm old, sir. I love the women. I have gone through college, and I worked my ass off for this degree.
You deserve
You realize
nothing.
how long it takes to get a diploma? I mean, a master's.
Shall we get back on the road now, please?
No, not yet.
You really don't
You
know?
don't need this.
You don't need your dynamite.
Yes, I do.
Alright, we're gonna go.
Bender kind of just is like, hey, guys, you guys get back in the car. You're out of control. Kind of just pile in.
Someone else drive. I'm too drunk for this.
You're drunk? How did
You
you
know
get
what, drinking Coke.
Eddie's hands are just shaking right now.
You should be like more focused actually because of the.
Okay, yeah, I'm good. Stay between the lines. Stay between the lines. I got this.
Your eyesight should be like really good because you're like taking on everything that's unusual, and then but you're like each eye's going different ways.
I'm pretty sure that's how cocaine works. Yeah, totally.
I'm the doctor here.
You are the doctor. You can make medicine work like that. Oh, yeah. You guys keep heading down the road, and again, you're having to take it slow. The road is just really bumpy. You're noticing a lot of ruts and gouges in the road. Go ahead and roll to determine how.
57.
Who's driving? You're driving? Doctor, who's driving? Who's driving?
Still.
You're driving. So you rolled a 57.
No. Alright, sorry. You roll.
So will you roll, Eddie?
57.
What? No way.
Yes, really.
Oh wow.
Yes, really.
Dice gods. What's an appropriate check? This is probably going to be like a dexterity check, or there should be a skill for like a vehicle handling.
Yeah, but it's a 20%. Probably for all of us.
So isn't it a natural 50? It's
It has a 20% by it, but the dex is a higher. Which this is an 80.
So with your dex, you go ahead and succeed. So you see some serious gouges coming in the road, but you're able to kind of just lazily go around and you're making good time.
see, this is why you should drink more cocaine.
Exactly. Everyone should at least have a little bit of cocaine all the time. I've been saying that for years. You all notice a redneck's man in overalls, no shirt, no shoes, and he's coming up the bank. As the road you're driving down, there's a bank down on the left-hand side to like a stream, and he's coming up the bank and he's kind of like waving his arms.
I'm loading my shotgun just in case. My butt shots, so it spreads and it doesn't kill him, but.
Okay, you're gonna go ahead and load some birdshot in your shotgun.
And
If he gets in my way, I'm running him over.
and also get a couple.
Eddie's not stopping.
You're not going to stop?
No.
Wow.
What's this guy look like? I mean,
Redneck.
No,
you can
I
see from a
meant-
distance he barely
no,
has
I
any
meant,
teeth.
does he look like he might be infected or something type look like?
You want me to expect him? I'm probably the only one.
From the car, going about 15, 20 miles an hour, go ahead and roll to see. This is going to be a hard check. Perception or...
No way.
Intel. No? Okay, so
I'm gonna go first.
I had a 94, so I highly doubt it. It's not
He
an
looks
extreme
healthy?
failure, but definitely not.
he looks like he could be in the Olympics. He looks great. Picture of health. Donald Trump looking guy.
No.
Stop the clock.
No.
Better to look like Donald Trump than Joe
We
Biden.
might need some information on what's
So he's like flagging you down, but he's not sure if you're going to stop. So he's not going in front of your car, but he's like, stop, wait.
just
Fine,
let-
stop.
I get out of the car with my shotgun and a drink of brandy, and I hand him the brandy. I was like, "What's up?"
He takes the brandy and greedily chugs the whole thing. And then hucks the bottle as far as he can throw it.
Bottle. I give him a glass.
Oh, glass, he hucks the glass.
I don't know, like number.
Very gentlemanly. I like how you're handing out glasses of whiskey to all these people. Glasses of liquor, this is great. Alright, so, yeah, he walks over to you guys. Well, howdy, welcome. How can I help you all, folks? You want to buy some fish?
Let me have a look at the fish first.
Right here. I just caught it not 15 seconds ago.
Really?
It's just as fresh as can be, fresh as a daisy.
Did you stop us to give us fish?
I did. Would you buy it?
Maybe. Let me have a look.
And
I
you,
want to examine it because like, I heard about the
sure.
animal, so I'm just gonna have a look at it.
You look it over. It looks fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's fresh, and it doesn't look like it's gonna go crazy.
It's not a psycho fish.
I'll give him $1. Let me give him $1.
$1. His eyes go. "Ding, thank you, sir. Well, I'm glad you guys pulled over.
I'm looking for a professor. I mean, a archaeologist. That's how I showed my paper of it.
Yeah, sure. I might have seen them if you got some more bourbon for me.
Good man. I take another glass because I have a set of glasses. Pour in one. This time, if you throw it, you don't get any more brandy.
All right, fine enough. And he takes it from you and he kind of smirks and again drinks it down greedily. At this point, his nose and cheeks are getting red.
Can I punch him?
Good man. Here's another more.
Okay, you want to punch him?
Yes.
Why do you? Oh. Hey,
Okay.
Me the stuff and no good reason.
Well,
you got fish for getting him drunk?
boy, let me tell you, I know Dr. Rhodes personally. I tell you, he's one of my best friends, and I'd be happy to tell you where you can find him immediately. Go ahead and roll for damage. Roll a d4. Pyramid die.
2.
Knock his ass on the ground? He's
You
already
hit
drunk.
him right in the nose, and it immediately goes bloody. There's blood pouring out of his nose. He cannot. Yeah, he's really drunk. He can barely talk. He's like spraying blood out of his mouth. Oh my God! What the hell? What the actual
I
hell?
socked this guy in the face. And
Are you gonna try and hurt him, or are you trying to restrain him?
no, I socked him.
You're actually hurting him.
I'm actually hurting him.
All right, go ahead. Both of you
You're
roll.
idiots!
Both of you roll for attack. Are you dodging or are you striking back?
Dodge.
All right, so you go ahead and roll, and you go ahead and roll percentile dice.
I rolled 20.
You rolled a 20. Ooh, that's gonna be hard to beat.
You need both die hard.
You think that they have like
Oh, reroll it.
scientists at you?
30. Nope.
41 after he rerolled.
41. What's your dex?
80.
Go ahead and roll the single-digit percentile dice. We're going to take that 30 from before. Yeah, that one. Okay, so you got 30 flat, which is a hard success for you. What did you get?
20.
Which is a hard success or regular success for you?
I got 20 to 0. And a 0. Oh, of course it's 20.
Are we talking about? It's an attack roll, so you're going to be using.
Do I have an attack? I'm a doctor, not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
That's a reason to pick up a brawl score. I don't think he has one. The 25% base on
Yeah,
the.
you got a brawl score, right? What's your brawl score? Ba-ba-bee. Supposed to be written in? No. Oh, there it is. Your brawl score is 45. Right there. So you rolled a regular success. So since he rolled a hard success against your regular success and he was dodging, he is going to actually take no damage. So he kind of skips back with a smirk on his
Did
face.
that too, by the way. And I'm gonna go like, I did not have him do that.
No.
I was like, I made sure I showed him. I socked him.
No, I get it, man. I'm not sure why that happened, but Jesus Christ, you want to keep him off me?
I'm sorry.
What the hell? I thought we were friends, man.
We are friends.
All
No,
right.
I give him my full bottle of vodka.
All right, consider it water under the bridge, friend. He takes the bottle of vodka from you. All right, well, just keep him away from me. I'll tell you about Harvey, but just don't let that murder by me.
Let me have a look at your face on this.
He kind of like puts his nose up and he's like, "Is it all right?" And it is messed up. It is like all the way crooked.
Can I roll for medication?
Go ahead and roll for medicine check. See if you can patch him up.
6.
Wow. So you take the time. You kind of crack. Oh, ooh, that stings. And you shove his nose back into place, and you kind of splint it, not like with wood, but you're kind of using plaster and your equipment, and you do it really well. And you do a great job. This guy's actually has a chance at healing correctly and not having a giant like 1920s alcohol nose, which you noticing that his nose is bright red like Rudolph.
Nice.
Like this guy might be an alcoholic.
Hey man, we're all alcoholics in this world.
As you say that, he's gonna start looking at that vodka bottle and just like
But
start.
before you drink,
Yeah, before?
tell me about it.
Oh, that's right. So you're well, Professor Rhodes. You gotta go talk to Harvey's.
What's with you talking about Harvey? How long has he been here?
They were probably the ones funding this.
So the Harveys are just the nicest farmer folk in town. They usually put up guests when they come through here. When Dr. Rhodes from the university was coming through, he went and stayed at their house. So if you want to know where they'd been, you probably best talk to him.
I shake his hand and like, enjoy that bottle.
And you can tell he's already halfway to being passed out, like on the side of the road here.
Just don't drink. Try not to die.
No, I've been, well, thank you, friend, and appreciate the concern for my health, and he's just turning back to his, like, tree. And
Make sure you catch me a bunch of fish.
you can come through here again. I got more ready for you.
Thank you.
Come on back. Come on back now here.
Happy to.
He's lucky I only punched him.
You hate this redneck, huh?
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
He made us stop for no good reason.
He gave us fish. We
That
made
does
a
not
friend.
matter.
We made friends. That's the most important thing you can gain. And a drinking buddy. If he doesn't kill himself from the vodka bottle.
Now, he'll kind of look at the whiskey, and kind of this, like, dark cloud goes over his eyes. He's like, "Hey, you get this from the Carmody brothers?"
No.
Oh, my God. Man, I had some whiskey from those folks, and I swear to God, I heard a woman singing in my head for 4 days. Weird, man. I'll never have that stuff again. I don't know what they're putting in it. It must be poison of some kind.
How long have they been here?
Carmody brothers? Well, hell, I reckon their pappy was from here, born and raised, and they came up here too, but to be honest, ever since they went to Boston and came back, they've been wild, those boys. Never the same.
So they're making liquor now? Or have they always been making liquor?
Well, to be honest with you, I know their pappy was just growing corn, but seems like the boys, after their time in the underbelly of the city, have decided bootlegging might be more profitable for them, if you catch my meaning.
Yes.
You didn't hear that from me, though.
It's all good. No worries. That's from the city. Definitely some good shit. Let's get out of here.
You all heading into town?
Yes. You have any recommendations?
I recommend you watch out for the sheriff. They've been acting weird lately. I can't put my finger on it, but you know the focus of the church has changed, and
Church?
yeah, the sheriff Sprouston. Yes, sir.
Let's just go.
No, wait, come back. Come back. Oh, I got more to tell you.
I did the whole like.
Let me hear
There's
the
a
last
reason I
of
want to
these.
go, because we already know the answers.
All right. Have a good day, sir. Sorry.
You too. I'll have a good
Sorry
one,
for
too.
my friends. They're very rude.
He's already half passed out. He's like slurring. Yeah, good one, too.
Falls down, just slides down the hill.
For him, everything is going to be different
He's stumbling.
because of the prohibition, and in fact, he's drinking against the churches and everybody's wants. So, of course,
He's
all
bad,
rules are
man.
different.
He's breaking the law.
I'm not
We're breaking the
driving
law.
anymore. I am not
Not
gonna
as
drive
bad as he
anymore.
is.
And he puts up, someone else drive, damn it.
I'm taking the wheel.
Dr. Who's the deal?
With my brandy on one side. And sipping.
Very nice. Doctor grabs the wheel and a nice stiff drink. You guys pie wide? All right.
I'm gonna ride on the running board.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna ride on the running board.
All right, you're riding on the side of the car. Go ahead and make a dexterity check. See if you fall off.
4. I'm not falling off.
So like Spider-Man, this guy is latched onto the side of this car.
Hand him the shotgun just in case.
Nice. So you guys like something out of something out of the war in Afghanistan. You're riding shotgun.
More like the Untouchables.
Nice. All right.
And it's much safer to be out there than inside the car with him drinking and driving.
Wow, I don't know. At least you have a metal like protecting you when you're going super fast.
But no
'Cause I'm not
seatbelts.
slowing down.
But no seatbelts. It's safer to be on the outside. As long as it's not going to be T-boning me, I can get out of the way.
If I make a hard turn, you might get run over.
So you're trying to make a turn just to screw with him a little, and it's not moving him at all. He is just pasted on the side of his car, alert with the shotgun.
What if it was some dynamite?
Hand him a stick of dynamite.
No, then he's just gonna fall off. And then what's gonna happen to my gun?
What if playing with dynamite? He's like, hey, this dynamite's fun.
Alright.
So you guys are going to make your way to the last part of the town? All right. Calling Blackwater Creek a town is a bit of an overstatement. It has some basic amenities, namely a general store and a church, but barring a few shacks, most of the population comes from the farms surrounding the local area. The church gives the locals some of the sense of community, although many of the folks keep to themselves these days. What passes for the town square is little more than a patch of mud surrounded by rustic wooden buildings. Feral dogs and half-dressed children run around making noise and mischief. There's a slight smell of rotting food in the air, with no obvious source. The sky is growing dark, and a drizzle is falling in a chill air.
Is there a convenience store or something like that?
There is you look around, there is a convenience store. It says Baxter's General Goods. You're making your way over to Baxter's? All right, you see Doctor Who kind of like park the car and start making his way in the general store. You guys follow?
Shotgun back and then,
No, give me my shotgun back.
I am.
Oh, I thought you were going to put the shotgun back in the car. Sorry.
I put it back in the car, someone else will take it.
That's fair.
All three of you make your way in. Cling, 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 cling. You're in the general store.
Ask one of them employees if they have anything stronger than dynamite.
No, they don't. Nothing is stronger than dynamite.
Dynamite's strongest.
Unless you go to a military base and you have the nuclear bomb from.
Well, these two are arguing about dynamite.
I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you that's the honest truth. Like, there's nothing stronger than
I
dynamite.
just want to know how to get to the Harveys and let you guys continue that conversation.
I'm gonna go actually look for more glasses of.
So Pendrick's in the general store with you guys. Man, we gotta make our way out to the Harveys. What are we doing? We're wasting time out here. The general store. The shop itself, as the only shop in the area, is well stocked with necessities ranging from grain to cloth to guns and ammunition. There are several barrels of local corn on display. And you notice that from the corn, the same kind of like smell, the same rotting smell, kind of permeates, and it seems to be coming from the corn. It's hard to tell. It's very faint. But you notice?
Hey, miss. Or is it guy?
You look behind the counter and there's that old-ass man back there.
Sirs, I think your corn is going bad.
What? Just say?
Your corn is going bad.
No, say the corn's gone schmad?
Yes, bad.
What's schmad?
Take a smile.
Oh, that sounds good, young one.
Can't hear me or anything or something?
What?
You can't hear me?
What?
I'm going to do a medicine roll to see if I can fix his hearing. I got a 4.
You got a 4?
I got a 4.
You look in his ear, and there's a giant brown and black earwax ball in there, and you kind of like look in your bag, take out a pair of tweezers, get another mirror in there, and you're like looking in angle and pop it on out. Oh, Jesus, young one, that's been bothering me for years now.
Alright, now can you hear me?
Yeah, of course I can hear you. Oh, you think I'm an invalid?
I don't know, man. You were just like saying things. Alright. I think your corn has gone bad. It smells rotten.
Oh, well, no. That's your opinion. I get it from the same place I've been sourcing it for years, the Carmody Brothers. I also get these whiskey from the Carmody Brothers if you'd like to buy.
Sure. I'll take it. How much is it?
Well, let's see. I'll call it about 5 copper pieces for each one of these jars. And he hands out like a mason jar full of like this clear whiskey, like this clear kind of moonshine vodka whiskey.
Take out my one of my 3 bottles of brandy. I'll trade you.
All right. Let's see. I could give you 2 of these jars for one of these bottles of brandy. And you make the trade? All right, that's fair enough.
How much dynamite's in the store?
Well, you're not the first person to be asking me about dynamite recently. I suppose the university folk were the last persons to be asking me about that. For you, we gotta make sure I keep my supply in. I'll give you 20 sticks of dynamite.
I'll take it all.
You take all of it?
Yes.
How much money do you have? You probably
I've got none, but I've got 10
I'm gonna say you can buy all the 20 sticks, but it's gonna be a money problem for you later. You good?
I'm gonna be dead broke later.
Oh my! I see how this guy's gonna be playing characters. You buy.
Not giving me money, by the way.
He kind of slides 20 sticks of dynamite over.
What's the overall? What's the overall atmosphere? It's not the guy, but the town atmosphere. What's the overall atmosphere feel like?
Heavy. It's weird.
One of these dynamite.
Like what we were just like our last mission.
You can't quite put your finger on it or why it's weird, but you know it's weird.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I figure it'd be different regardless, but it's heavy like that kind of heavy.
It's strange. You can almost feel like a beating. It's just on the edge of perception. You can't.
Smack him. What are you doing?
He's looking off into space, and you give him a little smack.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're telling us to not diddly daddle, and you're like watching the sky. What's wrong with you?
Ah, you guys are really violent to one another.
Here, I give him a bottle of the special brandy.
So he's handing you some of the Carmody whiskey.
Okay. I'm gonna put it away.
Okay, you just put it right in your bag?
Yeah.
All right. He's got the Carmody whiskey in his bag. Well, you guys just browsing? You're done for the day? Happy to help you.
We were looking for a...
I was, now that I forgot the name with all this other stuff going on, the couple, whatever, that put everybody up.
Oh, sure, you're asking about the Harveys.
Yeah, Brother Harvey's, yes.
Well, I probably got a spare room for you while you're in town. They might be able to set you up for you. Yeah, sure, yeah. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go out to the end of town, keep making the same way down the road, and when you get to the first left, the red barn, that's going to be the Harvey's property. You go ahead and go down that road, and when you reach the main house, you go ahead and knock on that door. That'll be the Harvey's.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
How many employees are in this store?
How many poisons?
The spirits?
Employees.
Involved. Well, this is just my humble shop, boy. Just me here.
You know what? Go to Harvey's and I'm going to meet with the woman with the redneck told me about.
Well, what's your
no,
business,
not the redneck. It was the guy.
The old gentleman, the veterinarian.
Oh, sure. You're talking about old man Hector. No, Hector Winnie was the redneck. You're talking about John Merritt, the veterinarian. Yeah, so he comes into town on occasion when acidic animals seems to be the norm these days. Something going around.
Yes, I heard.
Kind of pandemic, some pestilence.
How do you feel?
I really wish I had a notepad right now.
I'm doing all right. Kind of spits.
Do I see anything on him or morals or things like that?
You look him over. For an old man, he looks real spry. Like he looks like he might be in his 80s, but he's like getting up. He's like hustling over, getting your sticks of dynamite, 1, 2, 3, 20, and then hand them on over. He looks really, really good for an 80-year-old. You could only hope to look as good as this 80-year-old does when you're 80.
Hey, doctor.
Yes.
What do you drink?
No, this.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor.
Sure.
Did you
Go
get
rip a
everything you
page
need
out
out
now.
of the shopkeeper?
Take a page out.
Did you get everything you need out of the shopkeeper?
Yeah. Don't kill the shopkeeper.
Oh.
You really gonna kill the shopkeeper?
Yes.
You know what? You guys stay here, do whatever you're gonna do.
No.
I'm going out to the Harvey's.
He's going with him. Because he's...
Hold on. Don't tell him what he's doing.
No.
What is Pendrick doing?
I'm going to the Harveys.
Pendrick's leaving.
I don't care if I leave them behind or not. I'm going.
My. Okay, so you're going to pile into the car.
I'm leaving him behind.
You're turning on the car?
Yep.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want. I say don't kill the guy, because I don't know what will happen.
So there's like $100 like starter set that's gonna give you.
So Pendrick goes ahead, jumps in the car, starts the engine, and he's kind of waiting outside. What are you doing? Eddie's stroking his goatee malevolently.
I'm just walking away to the
Doctor Who jumps back in the
But
car.
I run because I don't want him to follow in me.
Before you go,
I'm going one way. He's going another, I think.
but since you're still in the star, the old man goes to you, turns to you, and he's like, before you go, be careful out here. Something strange going on, and maybe the sheriff isn't someone who you can trust.
Okay, then I'm just gonna leave.
Have a great day, bye.
Gave me something valuable to know.
We're gone when he gets out of the bar.
Gave me something valuable to know, so he lives.
Hey, maybe go play with some kids.
First feature reference.
They're the maids.
What's this?
You might not regret it.
Mixing the whiskey with the rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
Oh, you
That's
can
for
make
feature reference.
Okay.
Are you trying to make a Molotov?
No.
I see. Okay. You do that. So you make it back out to the car. These two are in the car waiting
gone.
with the car on. Oh, you left Eddie.
We left him. He went one way. I went the other way.
Which way did you go? So you left with the car. Eddie comes out and he's like looking around for everyone. What the hell? Where'd you go?
I went to go meet the lady.
Yeah, he went to the lady that went the further distance.
You look around and you see a number of shacks in the town. You also see a church-looking building, the general store, and then there's a slightly larger shack than the rest next to the church. So there's a total of 6 buildings. There are 3 shacks that you're not sure what they are. The general store, the church, and then the shack next to the church, which you're assuming is probably the sheriff's shack. The sheriff's shack is what you're assuming that is. That was hard.
The second choice?
All right. So you're walking through the town and you see these like kids in the town. And they're kind of frolicking and they're playing with a glass jar with water as you're making your way through. Eddie, you see Doctor Who making his way down the main like street and you're wondering, where the hell did the car go? Pendrick, where are you driving?
To the Harveys.
So you're making your way directly to Harvey's?
Yep.
All right, we'll come back to that.
I'm pretty sure whether it's eventful or not, it's going to be a lot longer time to do that than these guys.
Yeah, right. These guys over here. All right, so you two. What are you doing when you see him walking around?
Walk up to the doctor.
All right, so Eddie's going to join you. You guys are going to walk by the kids, and you're making your way to...
Well, I guess the kids now. They come with water. I want to check this out.
All right. Well, hey, Lester, how you doing?
Hey, what are you up to?
And you see 2 kids, probably around the age of 10. One is a male, one's female, and they're kind of digging at the ground, and they're taking worms out of the ground and putting it into the jar of water. And as you watch, the water, there's little flecks in the water, and the white flecks, when the worm gets dropped into the water, swirl and coalesce and all clump on to the worm. The worm kind of like struggles for a few minutes, and then all the white flecks kind of dissipate, and there's no more worm.
I think that's why people like.
And these kids are looking at this like raptured, and they keep digging, get another worm, put it in the jar, all the white flecks again.
I lean down. Does it smell like anything, or does it smell like everything else? Sweetness?
You give it a sniff, and you smell the same sweetness that kind of permeates the town. This slight rot. It's like overripe fruit. It's weird.
Take out the alcohol I bought. Like, does it smell the same way?
Go back, smell one, smell the other. Well,
37.
What's your spot hidden? Or actually, I'd accept like kind of like a medicine roll too.
Medicine roll would be 60.
Nice. Okay, so you notice that this is a very similar smell, and they're probably the same contaminant.
I was like, hey, kid, can I get one of those worms?
Sure, mister, here you go.
I put it into the jar of alcohol.
You go ahead and put the worm into alcohol, nothing happens. It kind of like bubbles for a moment, but it kind of just like dries out. It doesn't disappear. Eddie.
Can I try a magic trick?
All right, Eddie wants to try a magic trick.
Oh, God.
There's no way you make a flower the other way.
So you want like one of those like slide the hand, flower out of nowhere? Okay, you go up to the kid and you do that, and Rose appears in your hand. And he's like, "Wow, how'd you do that, mister? You a wizard?"
Give him a stick of dynamite.
What?
Oh
My God.
my
please
goodness.
Stop.
This kid's eyes go real wide.
Do I
And he
see
hands the stuff. And
Do I see this?
And he takes the dynamite, and his
take
sister's
the
like,
gun.
"You're not allowed to do that. Mom says you're not allowed to have dynamite after what happened last time."
I run over and swipe.
You're right there. Okay, you take the dynamite from the kid.
The dynamite. I look at
Hey, that's mine.
here. Have this instead.
What do you hand him? What are you handing him?
The liquor instead.
And you see like extreme disappointment switch over to happiness and joy, and he's like, "All right," and he's just like starts waddling away with his newfound prize.
Good job,
I'm
Doctor.
keeping no.
Good job, Doctor.
I take the dynamite, put it in my pocket.
Good job, Doctor.
Back. At least that can help him out.
The little girl's looking at you guys like, "Hey, you know, sometimes it's hard to get along, but you guys, I really think you guys are, good friends, and you shouldn't fight."
I'm trying to give him a high five and kind of
I give her $1. I'm like, be a good girl.
"Yes, sir," and she kind of giggles and like runs off.
You want to give a kid dynamite
Why didn't you
and
give
blow
me
them up
Why did you leave me hanging?
because I don't agree with this.
You gave the kid liquor.
Well, liquor can save lives.
You gave the kid liquor. You want him to be an alcoholic when he's 20? Saying he makes it to 20?
You don't think he's not going to people are not going to enjoy drinking at their age?
I know he's gonna make it to 20 knowing me.
Alright, just go to the campfire. There you go. Wow.
Go and make a spot hidden check. As you say, I don't think they're going to make it to 20. 16? 1? Wow.
1 and 16.
All right. I'm going to say you notice on the kids, not super drastic, but there are these black pustules on their face. And you notice with a natural one, it's all over them. It's on their arms, it's inside their mouths, it's not just on one location on their body. It's systemic. Like you can tell, these black pustules are deeply, it's a big problem. It's a deep problem in these kids.
See? This is why I get them liquor.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, these kids are not looking good.
Yeah, see? Why are you complaining?
I think it's a bad idea for me to be so nice to the kids.
Why? What do you have against kids? You want to blow them up.
Yes.
And you want their germs spread everywhere? They're going to blow up and they're going to get on us and then we're going to have the infection?
Simple, let's go to Hazmat Street.
Hey, I have an idea. Go to the sheriff and I'll be right back. I'll walk away to find the beauty.
You walk away trying to find what?
The beauty?
Beauty?
The beauty? The woman, the
Widow Hawkins is the one you're looking for. So you kind of defer to, you realize that of these shacks on the outside, Widow Hawkins would be one of the shacks. So you'd have to find which shack belongs to her. You probably realize another shack belongs to the sheriff, and then, yeah, those are the only shacks.
Alright, I'm going to the one that's not the sheriff.
So he thinks.
Go ahead and roll. High's going to be sheriff.
43.
That's low. So on your first try, you walk over and you are looking through the shack, and you notice the shack's empty. Not sure like who this belongs to. You knock and the door opens as you knock. Eddie's there with you.
Go away. I wanted to flirt. I mean, investigate without distraction.
Okay, I'll go to the sheriff's shack.
So you guys split up. All three party members have split up at this point. I just wanted to double check.
Yes.
Okay.
That was my goal this whole time.
All right, you guys aren't vulnerable at all. I won't take advantage of this.
Well, he has dynamite. All fairness, he has dynamite.
No, you're right. He's not vulnerable with dynamite at all. Nothing could happen to him with dynamite on this person. He's like immortal. This is what that is.
No, he has some really good luck with dynamite.
Yes, he is the luckiest dynamite player we got. Okay. Let's go ahead and do, since Doctor Who's already at Hector Winnie's shack, there are a couple of shacks on the border of the town square. One is derelict. That's the one that you've entered. You walk in, and you notice that this looks like an older lady's shack. It's not super nice or fancy, but it's clean and tidy. You know, someone who puts a lot of effort into maintaining a nice space, would make for themselves. You look around and you notice this has been deserted for a while, at least about a month, and that whoever was living here, while they prided themselves in keeping a nice place, because of the state of disrepair, it's obvious that no one's been here in at least a few weeks. You see under the bed a 20-gauge shotgun.
Awesome! I'm taking this too.
All right, you got a 12 and a 20-gauge shotgun. Write that down. A Bible and a number of religious pamphlets can be found in the main room as well. And as you're looking around, go ahead and make a spot hidden check, and we'll come back to you. Eddie?
You said 20 gauge.
20-gauge shotgun, correct.
I'm going to assume I'm a safe distance away from the sheriff's shack.
Okay.
So I threw a lit stick of dynamite at it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's the best detective journalist of all time. Dynamite. Everyone.
This is arson. This is terrorism. This is...
You're walking a fine line, sir.
Does anybody see him do this? This is. Can you do a sneak roll?
I'm gonna say because of his dexterity and his approach, he's able to sneak up on this building and get within dynamite throwing range. That makes sense to me.
All right.
Go ahead and roll for a dex throw to throw that dynamite.
14.
14.
You can go through the window. And here's long screen.
Oh my god.
Who's dying?
Yeah, okay, so you huck this dynamite in, and as you are throwing it, you see a person sitting on the porch, look at you, throw the dynamite into his house, and then start running away. What do you do?
Went back to the doctor.
I locked the door. I'm sorry. I locked the door. This is his mistake.
I locked the door won't stop me.
I hold it down.
So you're running back over to the abandoned shack that you saw Dr. Who made it for. Go ahead and roll your dexterity check, see how fast you get there.
83. That's one of his slowest rolls.
Thank God.
That's a fail.
That's a punishment he deserves.
My goodness.
I'm sorry.
So I'm going to say, with that low roll, you are running, and you look back, and the person who is also running away from the shack, you meet eye contact, and he sees where you're headed, and then the shack erupts behind you in a mushroom cloud, and you both are knocked flat.
I'm out there looking, and I close the door, I lock it. I was like, this is his doing. This is his doing. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's a good way to get through an adventure. Just start setting your party members out to the wolves.
I'm sorry.
Coming back to Pendrick. All right, Pendrick, so you're driving up, and you pull up in front of this house. And it's a pretty modest two-story house. Nothing special out here in the countryside. And as you pull up, you see a older man and a older lady sitting on the porch. And as they see you approach, they kind of wave and motion you up from the porch.
I head over there. Find the most appropriate place to park, of course.
All right, so you kind of cut the engine, walk on up. Well, howdy, stranger. What brings you to these parts?
And then you hear the explosion.
In the soft background.
Actually looking for, of course, I didn't have any way to write it down before, the professor's name that was out here.
Oh, yeah, well, you're talking about Professor Rhodes. Yeah, sure, man. He was back through here about 2 or 3 months ago now. Man, time really flies.
You haven't seen him since then?
No, and that actually makes me worry. I know him and the Carmody brothers were a bit at odds. I think there was a little bit of tension, and something might have happened to them if they haven't been found back where they're from. It's not good news. And he kind of grimaces at this and looks over his wife and grabs her hand, kind of gives her hand a squeeze.
Can you happen to give me directions to where he spent most of his time so I can check out there?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There's two spots you're gonna want to go to. There's the dig site where they spent most of their time. You know, they were talking about the dig site for the old Cade's Rest, trying to uncover the mystery of why the settlement disappeared. But, you know, they asked me, it ain't much of a mystery. People move on. Anywho, the second location they were spending a lot of time at would be the
Even still, like, you have to have a really tight inventory.
They also had a camp halfway between the cave, which they moved the secondary expedition to, and the dig site. They set up a camp so they could excavate both sites from one location. So from the camp, they were able to go to the cave, which is where the old sick guy tribe was. And they were also able to maintain and continue excavation on the dig site. If you want to find out what happened to them, it's probably the best bet to start looking at those places.
Alright, thank you very much. And what time of day is it right now?
Right about now, I'd say it's getting into later evening. It's almost getting dark.
Yeah, thank you. You mind if I catch you for the night?
You're more than welcome, stranger. You alone?
Yeah, I think my compatriots are probably going to be stuck in town.
Oh, understood. Well, you know, if you want to get them and bring them back, they're more than welcome. We got space. And as you hear that, you hear slight explosion in the back, and the birds kind of. Oh man, what was that? You think that was your friends? No. Man, maybe they need help. Maybe you should go back for them.
I'll go back for them, but I'm not so sure your home is going to be safe for them.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why. Kind of gives you a sideways glance, like, what do you mean my house ain't safe? Yeah, you know, you're welcome back here, stranger, if you need a spot. And he kind of tips his hat.
All right. I will
head back to the car. Gotcha.
All right. And also, did anything look abnormal about them?
You didn't see anything weird. However, go ahead and roll to see what you notice. Spot hidden check.
Not that I have that anymore. Nah. 66.
66?
Unless it falls under intelligence.
No, you should have a spot hidden.
Down here, nothing.
Nothing? So I think that's 50. Yeah, so you don't see anything odd. You notice that the lady's wincing a little bit, and you'll notice that Harvey has this squint, and you think initially that he's mad or angry at you, but you can tell he's probably just an old man. He's squinting, has bad eyes. Well, yeah, you got back in the car. Where you headed?
We'll head back and go get them.
Ooh, you guys are lucky. Wow, Pendrick loves you. Oh man, okay. So Pendrick,
I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong.
So cut
I locked the door, by the way.
Back to Blackwater Creek. Mushroom cloud explosions. You guys in slow motion landing on the ground. Doctor Who slamming the door. Locking the door.
Sitting down and having a cup of bread.
I'm gonna say, go ahead and make a dex check. Eddie.
Oh, also I got a 19.
26 for Eddie.
Yeah, we were on base the entire time.
I got a 19 from.
I rolled a 100.
Oh wow.
You rolled a 29.
19.
A 19 for your.
Just had to roll a check.
No, you rolled a 10.
Before this.
A spot hidden check.
You rolled a 10.
So that's the double-digit number.
That's 100.
I thought I rolled.
You rolled a 10.
Yeah, so that is going to be a 100.
No, that's a 10. That's just a flat out 10.
No.
No, it's a 100. If it's 2 zeros and a 1, it's 100.
No, the 100 would. Oh wait, never mind. You're right. My brain's gonna go fried right now.
You're good.
The 0 would be the 100. Yeah. So 3 zeros is the 100.
I got to figure out what a 100 is and what a 1 is and keep that on somewhere easy to reference.
Well,
No,
let's call it 100.
No, that's a that's a 100 because 0 zeros is a 0 to 9. So yeah, 100.
Okay.
My brain had to catch up for me too.
I'll double check. I reread that in the core rulebook, but I was like, wait, what does that mean? I'll have to read it again. You notice with your 19 spot head in check, dried blood leading from the bed out the front door. A trail of blood.
Well, it's outside. It's not inside.
No, it's inside. It's from the bed of inside the shack, going to the door and then out the door.
I know. Whatever it took. It took something from here. It's outside.
Yes.
Not inside.
You're right. It's outside now. It got taken out of this shack.
I'm just gonna relax because there's nothing better outside right now.
Scratch marks in the wooden beams as well.
I'm just gonna enjoy my drink of brandy.
Eddie,
This is
You.
quite exciting.
with your extremely high dex check, pop back up like you're, just like in the NFL. Pop back up, grab the football, and you keep sprinting to the door. Bang, 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 bang. Hey, man, let me in. You look behind you, and what you assume is the sheriff. He's still on the ground, face down.
Go finish your work.
No, I'm gonna do something really different and try and jump through the window.
Okay.
I'm opening the door.
Dex
now.
check. This guy's abusing his dex check.
74.
74?
He's gonna knock himself out apparently on the door, except for he passes his deck. But he passes his dex check, but he doesn't. But barely
That feels like
with his
a-
80 dex.
Amazing.
With
With
his
80 decks. I'm going to say you go ahead and get through the window, but you bang like your shoulders and your head, and you're kind of like really just like crawling through instead of like jumping through.
I get up. I look at him. I open the door. I close the door. I lock it from the other side. And I close it and I walk away. And you know what? I'm walking towards the guy. He's on the floor and like, sir, are you okay? And I was like, shit. And I'm gonna do a medicine check, honestly.
Go ahead.
His life.
Go ahead.
And I get a 69.
Nice. 69 medicine check. I'm going to say.
I
with
got
that-
60. It's not much of a fail.
So you fail.
I fail.
I'm going to say you kind of like. You're like kind of moving him, and you're like, "Hey, man, get up!" And he's passed out cold. When you fell, he hit his head, and you can tell like he's bleeding a little bit. You don't think he's gonna die. He's breathing, his heart rate's steady, but he's cold as a fish.
I'm gonna name him. Is he knocked out, by the way?
Are you knocked out?
Did you roll?
I don't think you are.
Did he ever do a spot hidden check?
Yeah, he did. He succeeded. He saw scratch marks and a trail of blood leading out of the shack.
Does the sheriff have anything on him?
You're gonna search his unconscious corpse.
No, I'm gonna round him. Is there anything around me?
Yeah, actually, you look over and you see a shotgun that he dropped.
I'm gonna pick it up, take it.
So you have 3 shotguns now.
Yes, but I don't want him to die, bro.
Let's say this is a 16 gauge shotgun. So you have a 20, a 12, and a 16 gauge.
So I don't want to get him to get shot right off the bat.
Sure.
He's gonna get shot off right off the bat.
Hey, he's throwing dynamite right off the bat. It's only fair.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Eddie, what are you doing?
Just take it, bro.
Trying to survive.
He stays in his room. Wait for the ride.
Just gonna hang out in the shack?
Just trying to survive.
All right.
Read the Bible. There's one in there.
All right, I'm gonna say at this point, Pendrick kind of motors up and sees he parks in the middle of town, sees the sheriff face down on the ground, doesn't see anything of Eddie, and then also sees Doctor Who kind of kneeling over this prone form, administering first aid.
Really, you two? Really?
I didn't even do this. I'm trying to help. All I want to do was go flirt with a pretty lady.
You even seen one since you've been here?
Man, well, I'm gonna be honest. I think the pretty lady got pulled away by a monster, and I don't know, may eat him. Maybe. There's blood over there. You should go check it out. And you should go check out on the idiot that threw a grenade, dynamite. He kind of hit his head through a window.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna pick up the sheriff and take him to the place.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, in the church. Well, he's kind of coming to. Yeah, in the church, I got my medicine.
Okay, so I'm gonna take him to the church. I'm gonna take him to the church.
All right.
And I'm gonna give him a shotgun.
Oh my.
I'm giving him the 20 gauge shotgun.
Okay.
You got a 20 gauge shotgun. If you need to use it on someone who likes dynamite.
Come on, guys, same team.
I'm gonna go see what he was talking about and get this one to the car.
You're gonna get him in the car?
To the car. I don't know about in the car.
All right. So Pendrick kind of motions to you to come out. You make your way over to the car with Pendrick. All right. So you guys are kind of manning the car. Doctor Who.
I wanted to see what was in there, so I was gonna go get him so I could see what the doctor was talking about as far as the mess.
Sure. All right. So you guys go ahead and take the kind of stumbling sheriff and you plop him down in the church and in one of the pews and he kind of lies back. Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna lay him down on to the pew, like just to lay down. Sir, don't move.
Oh, thank you.
Don't move. I'm gonna go get the
What the hell happened?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. It just. Do you have a gas leak?
Gas leak? What's gas?
You haven't been around the city, have you?
No, man. What?
It's like it happens when like the ground like starts to smell sweet and rotten in a sense, and then it builds just like a gas will like build up under a house or in the house.
Boy, who's got the head injury, me or you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, well when you go outside you're gonna see what I'm talking about.
No. And he's kind of just like trying to find his equilibrium. You can tell he's really got his bell rung. He nailed his head.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it down. Like just lay down and go to the church and get your message.
He's gonna over at Pendrick. Oh, it's over there, son. That's my medicine in the corner. Chest in the far corner.
We'll go get that.
You open it up. There's a bunch of whiskey jars in there.
Oh, thank God. Does it smell like the thing, or is it actually good whiskey?
Go and give me a spot hidden check. Spot hidden check from him. You grab the whiskey.
44.
44? What's your spot hidden? Is that? Tell me if it's a success or a hard success. What kind of success it is? Failure.
Oh, spot hidden. It is.
For you, it was blank. It was 50.
Oh, it's 45.
It's 45. So you succeed.
Yes.
Okay, so you see, it is the same jar as the general store. So it's probably Carmody whiskey. Same Carmody whiskey as before.
I'm gonna put it back. Don't worry about it. I got this.
No, give me that. Don't give me the whiskey.
And I open my whiskey.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
Yeah, whiskey. Yeah, he takes your whiskey.
This is the good stuff, my friend. You deserve the good stuff.
Man, that's smoky. What is there? That's some of that Irish whiskey. God damn, man, there's some buffalo trace. Hell yeah. All right, well.
I pour a little bit more because I feel sorry for him, honestly.
Man, what the hell y'all doing, man? What the hell happened?
Like I said, a gas buildup and
gas. I've never heard of gas before. It's weird.
yes, it's something new. Scientists are trying to harness for fuel and like to cook food.
All right, City Slicker. What are y'all doing here in my town?
I take out the paper and I'm looking for this guy.
Yeah, sure. Dr. Rhodes, he was back here about in June. Yeah, I remember this gentleman. He didn't come back, did he?
No, he's been gone for quite a while.
Goodness, that's unfortunate.
He said he was the last place he was been. It was here. So we came here to have a look for him and call him back. The college really needs him back, and his wife.
Well, I think his wife is with him, Abigail, no?
Yeah. When was the last time you seen him?
Well, to be honest, the last time we saw him was about 3 months ago, and about the same time the Carmody brothers started looking into Dr. Rhodes himself and was questioning his motives for being here. Might have thought that they were lawmen and Carmody doing what they're doing.
But there are all kind of smells like rotten sweet.
Yeah, I've noticed that. What do you think that means?
I don't know, but I say stay away from it for the time being because it doesn't seem safe.
All right, I'll take your
I
advice.
hear you can have my last bottle of brandy.
Well, you know, a big grin goes across his face and he takes the last bottle of brandy. Well, appreciate that, and you know, I'll stay off this whiskey until we're sure it's pure. You know, those boys out there, I'm not sure what they changed, but it does seem to have a bit of an effect lately.
All right. Have you been hearing like women singing as well?
Have I been hearing what?
A woman singing or?
No, nothing about that. Where'd you hear that from?
A redneck Captain Boonies.
Hector?
Yeah, Hector.
Might have to follow up with him about that.
See, last I saw him, I gave him a whole bottle of vodka.
I'm sure he appreciated that. Those guys drinks more than a fish.
Yes, just. He got us. He sold me a fish. It's amazing.
Drinks like a fish, sold you a fish. How about that? How about that?
Well, if you want to go drinking with him, if there's still some left, right there.
Understood. Now, if you want to find the professor, I suggest you look for his campsite. It's a bit up the road. You want to stay with the Harveys. You'll be able to investigate from there, and then camp's a little bit up the road. Oh, you didn't think my accent's funny, boy? No, that's what I thought.
He's in the car. He can't hear you.
Yeah, that's right. Mysterious laughing voice. Disembodied laughing voice. I can tell you what.
You're drinking too much. Do you want me to take away the beer? I mean the liquor.
All right, thank you for your time, Sheriff. We need to get going.
Have a good day.
Hey, y'all take care now, and be careful when you need anything else. And if this car moody boys give you any trouble, you let me know.
Happy to.
We're a little bit of low manpower out here, but we do what we can.
Have a great day. Try to get better.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Make sure to take that medicine.
He holds up your he holds up your liquor. Yeah.
Head into the car. I take my mead and I put it into the glass. Mead.
Hey, doctor.
No.
Do you still have that fish?
No, it's not yours. It's mine. I bought it.
I'll trade you all the dynamite for that one fish.
Man, that's a good bargain.
I'm just driving. I'm just focusing where we're going.
Okay.
Dynamite for fish.
And I will update whenever they get done with the bartering thing.
I gave him the fish for all his dynamite.
Go ahead and write that down. You have 30. You have 29 sticks of dynamite. You have one fish.
The best weapon I need.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue with that. Dynamite versus fish. We all know who wins that battle.
I'll make a release. Yes. I need that.
All right, so
Yeah,
you guys.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yes, good dude. There we go.
You guys finish your barter, and then you look over, and Pendrick's he's driving you all back to the Harvey farm.
I wanted that fish too.
And I'll update you all about the campsite and whatnot, the information I got from the Harveys versus what the sheriff was saying. Because the sheriff only gave a little bit.
Strange. So
I wanted to do something else, but I wasn't there for the initial part, so really had no basis for.
No worry, we did a lot of things already.
No, there was information I wanted because I wasn't with you guys to see some of it. I had no basis for my character even asking to know.
So, well, I'm going to tell you what I know in the car. Everything that's happened, I'm telling him.
Okay.
So
So you're all on the same page.
Yeah, and everything you know, and hopefully you told me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there, now you're up to date on it.
So you guys know.
Based off of them telling me now, can I compare appearances between the sheriff and the kids?
Go ahead and roll maybe like a spot hidden check makes the most sense to me.
Because we're in the car already on. So yeah, go for
Like
memory.
some kind of intelligence
Yeah, that's what
check.
I'm doing.
Oh, memory.
Yeah, trying to connect the dots here.
There are some units that aren't.
How much did the explosion hurt?
Probably not with anything I could roll. It's an 83, so right now I'm a blank.
I
Yeah,
actually
so
rolled a 27.
it's in the back of your mind. You're like thinking and then making connections.
I rolled like a 27.
You would know, but it's not coming to your mind. The question.
'cause I wasn't really-
Yeah, you're not thinking
I
about
thought about it for a second.
I'm distracted. This kid's throwing dynamite over here. I'm having to do some first aid for the local sheriff.
How much did the dynamite hurt me?
None.
No, you just fell on your ass.
You got knocked prone. You rolled high enough. You didn't take any damage.
The sheriff wasn't lucky that way. Well, actually, maybe he was lucky because he didn't shoot you. He didn't know it was you. He just,
His misfortune was your luck.
yes.
So you guys make your way back out to the Harvey farm.
I have an extra gun. So here you go. You get the sheriff's 16 gauge shot.
Wow, you took the sheriff's gun? Whoa.
You never give it back. You never asked for it.
No, he didn't
I wasn't
notice.
even aware it was missing.
Wait, do I have a 16 gauge now?
Yes.
16 gauge is like the American shotgun. That's what was used a long, long
I
time.
gave him 5 shots of shotgun shells and 5 shots of the
Buckshot.
buckshot.
Right, 5 bird and 5 buckshot shells.
Alright, man. Try to kill anything that tries to eat us. That's it. That's all I want you to kill. Things that are trying to eat us.
I have a fish now, that's infinitely better.
I got a
very
feeling
true,
that's
man.
not what they're trying to do with this.
I can smack someone in the face with the fish.
I kind of would love to see that. And just knocks out right away. Oh no! He smacks him so hard with the fish, his head just flies right off. And you leave a nice little.
Don't challenge your rolls, you're probably rolling out one on you.
Okay, so the Harvey farm lies to the east of the Carmody property and is accessed by a dirt road that also functions as the border with the Carmody fields. This is a modest wheat field that borders on the cornfields of the Carmody farm and a pasture that is used to graze cattle. The Harveys are also raising pigs and a few chickens. Malcolm and Edith Harvey are an elderly couple who have run the farm for the past 40 years. Their adult son, Theodore, also lives and works on the farm, as do 3 full-time laborers. While the Harvey farm is not actually a rooming house, they do put up the occasional visitors from Blackwater Creek. Not that the town sees many visitors. They only have 1 spare bedroom, however, additional visitors are welcome to sleep in the hay bales in the barn.
I go to the Harveys. Can I have a room for the night?
I'm introducing them first and said,
Who the hell are you, boy?
let me introduce everybody first since I'd already been here.
Hey, Pendrick, welcome back. Good, glad to see you here.
So these are the friends that I was kind of thought better of. Although I'm also sure I thought better of leaving them, but
That's what I think of most of my friends as well. Kind of grins at that. Hey, let me introduce my wife. This is my wife, Edith. My name's Malcolm Harvey. We're the Harveys here, and there's about, it's a small, humble farm, but there are about 6 of us here.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet y'all.
I give him a glass of meat.
Hey, I appreciate that. He takes it, gives it a hearty sip. Now, we got 2 beds upstairs, and whoever wants those is welcome to stay in the house. And sorry, the 3rd one of you, you're going to have to sleep out in the barn on the hay.
Alright, I'm gonna take them inside. They can go outside. I give her a 5, and I just walk out.
Oh, she winks at you. Oh, dear, that's so kind. He's like, if you'll excuse me, I have some work to do, and he starts moving over to the barn.
I just took this spot right off the bat. Didn't even talk about it.
So, you guys are welcomed. You have a place to stay.
I'm going to do a recheck with the physical appearances now that I learned more.
Spot hidden check. Go ahead and roll.
After everything's
13.
Go ahead and roll with, leave those there. Go ahead and roll with advantage. Wow, 3. So with advantage, you take the better of the 2 rolls. So since 0-0 is lower than 10, that was impressive. So I'll say with that, you notice Edith, the wife, just kind of chewing and sucking at her teeth, and there's an occasional grimace. And then you notice Harvey, Malcolm, he's kind of doing the squint thing, but then he's taking his glasses off and just leaving them off. So it looks like, he's kind of squinting, but then he doesn't have to squint. You're not sure, but you notice that it's odd for someone to who needs glasses to use them and then not use them, and it's going back and forth. Yeah.
in the downtime. I'm gonna sketch the kids.
Is there anything in the room that I'm at? I rented.
So you go ahead and make your way upstairs. You see, it is a simple room. There's 2 cots and a ceramic wash bowl on the table. That's it.
I sit down. Wait, there's 2 cots?
2. It's a small room, 2 cots.
So I can have another person.
Yeah, 2 people upstairs.
I push them together and lay it down.
Okay, so you push the 2 cots together and you lie down sideways. What are you 2 doing?
So I'm still mulling information over in my head, so whatever he's doing, I'm mulling information.
I'm gonna sketch the more deformed kids that we saw.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna sketch the more deformed kids that we saw earlier.
You're going to search the...
No, he's gonna sketch. He's gonna draw.
Phone should be like a fist. Yeah, there you go. Now what?
I'm gonna sketch the kids that we saw earlier.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and start sketching. Go ahead and make a roll for like a cartographer. There should be like a kind of like a drawing skill, art skill. Nice.
61.
Oh my god, it's cartoon characters.
Yeah. So you draw the kids, and they look like like long, goofy hair, like I'd say a crude manga is what they look like.
Has the drinking been abnormal? What we've seen is the drinking. Would you say the drinking's been abnormal?
Alcohol?
Yeah.
For the people you've met so far, for the alcoholic Hector and the sheriff, yes, it's been an abnormal amount of drinking. You can tell that they're heavy drinkers. However, you look at Malcolm, and he doesn't look like much of a drinker. He looks healthy, kind of just like a strong farmhand.
I go downstairs and ask the ladies, when would dinner be ready?
Oh dear, well, I think we'll have dinner on the table soon now.
Thank you.
She's kind of sucking at her teeth again.
I pour a little glass of mead for her as well. Like, here,
Oh,
I got it
honey.
from the city. It's really good.
Oh, I hear your city folk have some fancy things out there. And she slides it over and starts taking a little nip.
I'm gonna go help out Malcolm. Presuming he needs help.
Is there anybody
Okay.
outside? Other than...
So you look outside and you see like a few farmhands wandering around doing like farm shit. They're, sharpening tools or putting stuff away, carrying stuff from point A to point B. Farm shit. You go out and you join Malcolm in the yard, and he is dousing a corpse in some kind of fluid. I think it's probably kerosene from the smell. Kind of stings your nose. It's a cow, and it's dead, and it's on the ground. And as you approach, you can notice these black pustules on the cow. And he's about to light this thing on fire.
Would I know that to be a bad idea or a good idea?
Lighting an animal on fire?
This particular one being infected.
You have go and roll. Medicine check, Doctor Who.
Not likely for me at all. I have to roll extremely high, but nah, no way.
No way?
92 out of whatever, so no way.
You're like, hey, this is how you make a steak. How could it go wrong? He's kind of grimacing. He looks up, gives you a nod, and then goes back to his work. Glug, 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 glug. He's just making sure that the entire thing's coated and it's going to burn.
Diseased?
Yeah. Not sure where this pestilence came from, but I'd say, about maybe 3 months ago, all the animals that come down with it are slow at first. I'm not sure how the progression went, but ever since then, black pustules and aggression. Yeah, this one had to put her down. She wouldn't let me try and help her. She'd just try and charge me and gore me every time. I tried to help her, so I had to put her down, and hopefully the rest of it won't spread to the rest of the herd. I've isolated it, got it before it spread. I don't know. It was
You said 3 months ago?
shame. It's hard to pinpoint because it was gradual, but yeah, I'd say between 2 and 3 months ago. Yeah.
So, somewhere between the issues with the Carmody brothers and Professor?
He'll kind of squint at you. It looks like a glare, but he's squinting, and then he kind of draws the line. He's like, "Oh yeah, well, I guess that is about right. It was about that time. I hadn't made that connection before. I suppose it was about the time of Carmoody Brothers. And Dr. Rhodes had the argument. Strange.
I'll look for more in the morning when we hit the campsite. We'll see what we can find.
Gives you a nod, and then he strikes a match, throws it on the cow.
I don't want to be there when it gets too strong a smell, so.
You start walking away.
See, this is why I'm happy I took the dynamite, because I feel like he would toss the dynamite into the fire.
You're gonna blow up the cow. Hey, I can help you burn that cow.
I'm gonna try and enjoy the kids one more time.
Okay. So I should let you know that when you draw the kids, it's going to be the same roll as last time. We're going to continue using that roll. So nothing's changed in you trying to draw. Just more time has gone by. It's still going to be under that same roll.
Okay.
Okay. So you can try and explain like what happened to the kids.
Write down.
Yeah, just drawing it. It's not going to.
Try writing down. You're a journalist after all.
True.
Okay, I'll follow what he said and try and write it down instead.
Okay. Give it a journalism check. Is that a check?
22.
22? All right, so I'm going to say you expertly document all the symptoms that you saw in the kids, the pustules, the different, the lethargy, the different physiological signs that you saw. All goes down, and you're going to be able to hand this to someone, and if anyone has similar symptoms, they'll be able to know. All right.
You know, core teams are big making money.
I forgot one little question.
Yes.
And that was, before I leave talking with Malcolm, if you could give me an idea how far it is to where the Carmoody brothers actually stay.
Oh, sure. That's a farm right over there. And he points and you see a field right across the street, as it were, the road that separates the Carmoody farm from the Harvey farm. That is the border.
That's what I'm saying. Where the home is in that same direction.
Oh, sure. I got a pretty reasonable property, but if you keep walking, I'd say 15 minutes down the road there, you'd get there.
All right, thank you, because I might have to check there as well. We'll do that one later, but
Sure.
thank you.
Oh, no problem, young guy. No, it'd be a shame if Dr. Rhodes run afoul of those brothers. They're so vicious after they came back from Boston. Wild-eyed they were. But I'll tell you, I wish the best for those boys, but ever since their father passed, it's been rough for them.
I think that's the way you looked it up. I kind of lost my dice inside the table.
Crap, we'll get it later. What do you need?
The other perception side.
Double or single?
Good job.
I didn't do that on purpose. I was just rolling.
Good job.
I should get like a double. I should get a bonus dice too.
Good job. All right, with that, they're going to kind of gather you all. The dinner bell is going to ring. Bing, bing, bing. He's going to bring you all in for dinner. Edith and Malcolm are going to set the spread and then kind of wait and look all around at you expectantly and kind of hold their hands out for prayer.
I go take a sip of my
Dr. takes a nip and then holds hands.
Dear Lord.
So respectful. Such respectful guests. You guys, I warm my heart to know that there's such polite people still in this world. Eddie?
What do you do?
Oh, what?
Begrudgingly, sure.
So Eddie grimaces and then takes the hands. Edith looks around and he's like, thank you, God, for the grub. Let's get down and get these good eatings. And drops the hands and you all dig in. Clink, 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 clink.
Of course, some meat for everybody.
Hey, this guy, I tell you know how to be a guest. All right, so you guys sit down, you're kind of in small talk conversation and chit-chatting, and they're dropping little hints in there, and you're noticing this food tastes really good. You've never tasted food this good before. It's like an orgasm in your mouth. It's so tasty. Everybody roll a con check.
And then I'm fine with the orgasm.
43 with a con of 60.
Pass.
He actually failed.
69.
No, it's 96.
96? 99? Ooh.
Can I go do
No, you can't push this roll. So there is something in this game where if you don't like your roll, you can do something called pushing the roll, which is essentially just re-roll it, but the stakes are fucking really high.
Yes.
So you're saying, okay, I don't like this roll. I want to re-roll it. Let's push the roll. You roll again, and you do bad.
You die.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. It's going to be bad. You can do it. I encourage you to do it.
I want to do it, though.
You can't do it on this. This isn't that kind of check. You can't push this roll. So, you two feel amazing. It's like the first time you've had sex combined with ice cream and waffles. It's really,
He doesn't know half of that, so we'll leave that alone now.
He doesn't know ice cream and waffles?
No, he knows that half.
Who doesn't know ice cream and waffles? It's amazing. You feel high. You're like floating. It's incredible.
Is it better than drinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, can I have some for
I've never done heroin, but I assume this is what heroin feels like.
Oh, he has.
I have.
So then he knows.
Wow. Well, having sex. Oh, boy. And with that, we're going to take a break.
Alright.
You know.
Oh, you realize it?
Yeah.
Like the moment I did it, this channel stopped.
All right. Oh, here we go. Okay, so you guys are all sitting down at dinner. You're eating the best meal you've ever had. And well, these two are having the best meal that they've ever had in their life. For you, it's like, all right. Mashed potatoes, right? Mashed potatoes.
Does he notice that we're talking, acting funny and so forth?
No.
We're not acting funny. We're just enjoying the food. Right?
You're almost slack-jawed with your pleasure, but you're not acting funny.
I'm gonna take another sip of my meat and is there any desserts?
Oh yeah, Hector Winning kind of gets up. Oh sure, we got some peach ice cream for you, honey.
Ooh, I'll take some of that. Thank you.
She sets down a big old bowl in front of you. Clink clink.
Pour my meat on top of it.
As she's putting it down in front of you, she kind of grimaces and then kind of like pushes on her teeth a little bit.
You okay, miss?
Oh well, I'm fine, honey. And I'm not gonna say nothing. No, I'm good.
Well, I'm a doctor. If you need me to check anything, just let me know. I'll do it for free because this dinner is amazing. This dinner is amazing.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. You're too sweet, honey. And I wasn't. You probably think I'm crazy, but my teeth are coming back.
Oh, may I have a look?
Sure. She opens her mouth, and you do notice poking up through her gums are some perfectly fine wisdom teeth. They seem to be regrowing.
When did they come out? How long ago?
Oh, honey, I was probably in my early 50s, late 40s when these kind of, at least a decade.
Oh, no, you look like you're 20s. You were.
Oh, honey. Oh, my. And she scoops a big-ass another peach ice cream scoop into your bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you. I swear, you sit up, get a bad rap. You're so nice.
Thank you.
Hey.
Eat some more of my food. I sit down like, so far it looks good in your mouth. Can I do a medicine check on her?
Go ahead. Pendrick, you notice...
49! No, 46. 46!
That's still a success.
Yeah.
You notice that Hector is like still squinting. He's doing the squints. You notice with that medicine check, she looks like she's a full health. Probably someone in their late 30s would have like such straight posture and strength. She gives you like a little squeeze on your shoulder as she walks by, and you're like, oh, damn, she a bodybuilder? What the hell? That's a farm strength.
Well, she is a farmer.
She is a farmer.
I can have a look at
Bum, 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 bum.
Can I have a look at the husband?
You go ahead and look over at the husband. You see him squinting as well. Go ahead and roll a medicine check.
I don't seem to pass those up. I'm not even trying to make those.
Yeah. 40? 20. With that, you actually, from looking at it, you notice that his prescription for his glasses they're wrong. So he shouldn't be able to see at all, but somehow he's seeing fine. If squinty, he's seeing fine.
Alright, I'll sit down. I was like, oh, alright then. Have another test of mead, maybe Maybe some meat will help.
Meat always helps. That's not a maybe, sir.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
All right, so you guys done with dinner? You all retire? Who's upstairs sleeping?
Me, I'm upstairs. I'm the one that bought the
You're
room.
upstairs. You pushed the two bed. You
he
bought the free room.
Yeah, he pretty much claimed it. Yep.
You very much did. Is there anyone else going to challenge him for the other bed up there?
No, they don't even know about the other bed.
They
I didn't
don't.
talk about it.
No.
I put two beds together. It's one bed.
That's how
I
it
actually knew enough that I could, but
Can I sleep on the floor in your room?
No.
gotta remember they did explain this all to me long before he showed up.
Okay.
Why can't I sleep on the floor?
You are gonna sleep on the floor.
Of your room?
No, but in the shed.
Bond's available for anybody who can't sleep in the room.
Yeah. I guess it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it.
I will remember this.
I remember something very similar happening with a big and
I remember explosions.
and me having to like check on the doctor or how about the guy you saw in the face just because you didn't like him stopping the car?
Are we having this in the middle of dinner?
Yes, of course we are.
So you guys are arguing in the middle of dinner in front of your guests. They're like fanning themselves from the scandal.
I know.
Dear word, you blew the shack up?
He
My
did.
goodness.
I
Really
know.
blow anything up.
This is why he sleeps in the barn. This is why. This is his punishment.
Dare say an animal.
I was like,
Bond's what he deserves.
yes, it is. I pour her and him one more meat and I go upstairs.
You go upstairs, you guys make your way out to the barn. Although the Harveys grow some wheat, the main income from the farm comes from livestock, mainly cows and pigs. The farm provides most of the milk for Blackwater Creek, and the Harveys also sell pork and beef. One barn is given over entirely to cattle. While the cows roam freely through the pastures, during the day they are brought in to the barn twice, where they're milked. A large straw stack covered over the tarpaulins. What the hell? Stand outside the barn. Another barn houses stalls for pigs. This one, large fenced yard outside of the barn, used for breeding the stock, which by day contains 9 sows and 1 boar, which Malcolm named Brutus. There are 2 smaller pens used for smaller pigs, destined for slaughter. So that's what, there's 2 barns out there. Pretty good.
And how do all these animals look?
A little feisty. They got a bad attitude. You're just looking at them. They're looking back at you way too aggressively.
And I'm assuming I see black on some of these.
Go ahead and roll a
Not the normal
spot.
black.
Go ahead and roll a spot hidden check for some not normal black on these pigs.
46.
46. Is that a success for spot hidden?
My spot hidden is a 25% thing, but no number. So you said 50.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So that's a success. You see, on Brutus specifically, large black pustules. The boar.
Pop them. Take your knife out and pop one. See what happens.
Could help. You sure? You don't want to?
No,
Get this on that black pus in your face. You sure?
no, I'm
Okay.
very sure of that one.
All right. Doctor has great advice.
And he's not even in the room.
We're running low on face masks right now. That's all I'm saying.
But we're also saying he's up in the room.
He's
by
in his
himself.
bedroom.
He's not even.
You're making your way down to
Yelling out
the barn.
the pop the
As he blocks the fourth wall here.
That's a 4th wall. So you get up to your room. You kind of, take off your clothes. You put out the candle with
Sleep
that.
naked all the time.
Oh, free balling, Sam. You put out the candle with one of those like brass bells that goes on the top, very old timey. And as you're putting the flame out, you see on the ground a small piece of paper that's kind of crumpled up in the corner. You only notice it because this would have been under the bed, but because you moved the beds, it revealed this crumpled up piece of paper.
Pick it up. Have a look at it.
You find a letter from Dr. Rhodes. It's probably from when he stayed here last, but it's obvious that because he crumpled it up, he decided never to send it. It reads, "My dear Mr. Dean Flabbenabba, I wish I knew where to begin. It appears my suspicions were correct, and Blackwater Creek is indeed built upon a former site of Cade's Rest. I have discovered artifacts that give every indication of an earlier colonial settlement and remains which. There is so much more here, though. And the rest of this is crossed out. So much more than here. I hear my mother sometimes. I know her voice. She's dead, but I hear her. The cave is not just a myth. Cade tried to bury it. This part's crossed out. But she is there, and she never died. I have procured some dynamite and am aiming to open up a cave as soon as this damnable storm ends. Even the winds.
I'm just saying, how is dynamite so easily
prevalent in this game? Good question. I'm going to have to start crossing some stuff on these adventures. And then this last part is crossed out as well. She needs me. I must free her. God forgive me.
I put it away. I was like, when I take out the other note, and I'm like, is the same hiding ring on both?
Yes.
Is this one sooner, or which one's more up to date?
This one's about a week after the first.
Okay. So this one's the oldest one.
Yes.
So have a look at it. So he essentially lied on one. And the other one, I'll put it away. I'll talk to my companions tomorrow. I will have a nice drink before bed and just lay down. Lock the door.
Doctor Who gets his 8 hours, locks the door. Nice. You too? Anything before you pass out in the hay?
I get as far away from the animals as I possibly can.
Fair enough. So you're out in the barn. They're all out. You guys are sleeping in the cow barn, full of hay. There's no animals inside the barn. All the cows are out in the pasture. There are pigs in the other barn, but that's like further down. You can smell a slight wafting of pig shit coming in. It's not nearly as bad as when you walked by it, but it's there. It's a farm.
Does it smell oddly sweet and rotten at the same time?
Just pig shit.
Yeah, okay.
Musty.
Yeah. I'm glad I bought the room and didn't tell you guys about the extra bed.
Doctor, waiting till I see you again.
What? What are you going to say? You're going to break the fourth wall?
I'm saying this to
I'm
myself.
going to try to sleep as lightly as possible anyway.
So you two are making your way out to the barn, and there is a farmhand making his way over to, in the opposite direction, his shack. You see him chewing. And as he goes by you, spits right behind you.
Were he sleeping?
No,
No, you're just walking. You're passing ships in the night,
chewing
passing each other.
tobacco.
Yeah, probably chewing tobacco.
It's nighttime. I'm not going to investigate too much.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys go ahead and make your way out to the barn. You kind of like pat down some hay, make a nice bed. Edith's there with you. She gives you a pillow and some blankets to make it comfortable. And she's like, oh, well, you guys come and get breakfast in the morning. We're doing about sun up. Please make your way on over when you're up.
It's very important to make friends. Instead of blowing everybody else.
Now, don't worry about the rats and the spiders and such. I've been getting a weird feeling from these creatures, but they're harmless. But I tell you, strange last spell of time they've been not more aggressive, just a weird pressure coming from them. In fact, last month I saw Brendan Carmoody standing out in his field, covered with crawling insects and spiders, surrounded by rats. Since then, I ain't going out in that field. I'm just a humble farm woman. I want nothing to do with them snakes and rats, but it's probably just my imagination. And the moon does funny things to the lighting out here. You guys gonna pass out?
I'm going to make it a cold check after what you just said.
Go ahead and run a spot hidden check there.
That too, but 46.
you have your fists on
So that's a success. So you look around and you feel like you're being watched. And as you turn your head, you lock eyes with a rat. And the rat stares back at you and holds your gaze. The rat's looking right at you and is not moving.
I'm gonna go sleep in a dang car.
I'm
Gonna be uncomfortable. I'm gonna
I'm
sleep
gonna
in
do
a
the
car.
same thing as him.
So you both make your way out to the car. You're gonna grab your pillows and your blankets and make your way to the car.
Also doing a cult check about what she was saying about the Carmody brother with it.
Go ahead and roll.
This one I should have a better shot at. No, not likely. Even with my occult roll 60, I still failed with 12 points off, 72. With an occult of 60, but
You
I
feel
failed.
like you heard information about the brothers of the rats and the spiders of the field. Can't quite place where you heard it before.
Yeah, try to sleep as light as possible, so it's probably better to sleep in the car.
There's some brown
I'm sleeping in the car.
I think there's one bottle of vodka and one bottle of meat left. So drink away. Drink away your nights.
So as Doctor Who is counting the bottles of whiskey in his sleep, 1 whiskey bottle, 2 whiskey bottle,
All Carmody brothers.
all through the night. You can't quite sleep. There's something weird. It's like you're on the edge of a nightmare, but you're not dreaming of anything. Then all of a sudden, middle of the night, you're all woken up with a start.
Should be easy for two of us.
It sounds like this entire farm is losing its shit. All the animals are screeching at the top of their lung. You bolt up out of bed, Doctor Who, and land on the ground on your feet, not just kind of shocked in the middle of the night, like, what the hell's going on? What the fuck? What the
Grab
fuck?
a gun and go outside.
He's grabbing his gun, he's going outside. He's like hearing pigs and sheep, and they're all screaming at the top of their lungs. It's the middle of the night, and for some reason, the animals are freaking the fuck out.
I'm looking through the windows anyway of the car, since we're in the car, looking through the windows, see if I can figure out.
So you kind of like get up, and you're looking around trying to see.
Making sure there's no more zombies
Perception.
out. No more
You're running down.
zombies.
And what are you doing, Eddie?
Starting the car.
42.
You're staying in the car.
No, starting it.
You don't see any. Oh, starting the car.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see
Eddie turns on the car. You don't see. You look around. You don't see anything. There's like nothing that's coming down the road. There's just like all these animals, and they're smacking into the side of the pen.
Alright, time to get out of the car and do some walking around. With the shotgun he gave me,
We all have shotguns now, actually.
Nice. 3 shotguns. This is my kind of campaign. All right. So he's outside walking. You're still in the car. You just got out the door. I'll say
Naked man.
butt naked with a shotgun. I'll say Malcolm is also butt naked, just with the shirt on, half naked, and he also has a shotgun. So it's you, Malcolm, in the front of the house. You're walking over to the front house from the car with a shotgun. 3 shotguns. You're kind of like looking at them from the car, kind of providing cover, looking around, see what's going to come. Right? Sound good? All right. From the side of the pig pen barn, the side of the barn just erupts in splinters of wood. Around the corner, peels around Brutus, the boar, and he's headed straight at Malcolm.
Who goes first?
Who's closer?
I would say
Aren't I closer to Malcolm?
you two are right on each other. Malcolm and Doctor Who are right next to each other, and then you're about 10 feet away, and the pig is sprinting right at Malcolm.
I aim my gun straight at the
Is it going past me, or am I too far away from all this?
You can take a shot. You're in range.
We'll take a shot at the board.
All right. Each of you shoot for shooting the boar. What's that? 3 shots on the boar. Go ahead and roll it up.
31.
31 hits.
38.
I rolled a 100 on that. 38 versus my 72. That hits. Eddie? 60 versus my
16.
16
Yeah.
versus my 74. Again, all 3 of you hit with your shotgun blasts.
I roll damage or something.
I need to look up shotgun damage.
They're really different shotguns, by the way.
Yeah, I think we might just.
But the damage will probably be equal just to make life easy.
Yeah, we might just squish that down.
Wait, what type of shotgun shot do you have? Or is this spreader?
to the 16 gauge.
Huh?
Remember, you gave me the 16 gauge.
No, I think the bullets. Do you have the spreader in there, or do you have the buckshot? Oh, okay.
Buckshot.
That's gonna go right through him.
He's got a buckshot. He's gonna cut in 3 equal parts this big. I just gotta make sure that he gets through. If he's gonna make through this.
I feel sorry for the pig. And what about the guy? Does he not shoot?
He's getting so wrecked.
This is the house all over
He's probably
again.
stunned that he's being charged by his boy.
This is that damn house all over again. We throw one dynamite just to fuck around. And he throws 10 dynamite. Fancy.
Why do I got the feeling he's still handling this?
Okay, here we go. Okay, it's going to be 2d4 plus for all the shotguns. I'm going to say we're going to squish that down to 3. So roll 2d4, the pyramids, plus 3. 8 damage.
5.
13.
Plus D4?
6.
Yeah, this
8,
4.
6, and whatever he had over there.
And plus one more of these or something?
No, just plus 3. Plus your dice, plus 3. 2d4 plus your 3 for your damage bonus.
Oh.
At any regard, this guy only had like 12 health, so you decapitate it, you shoot it in half, and you shoot it up the ass.
Yeah.
You buckwheated
I think we only have the birch thread in it, so he feels it.
Yeah, so you can pepper him. So right as the spore is about to leap and gore Malcolm and just eviscerate Malcolm and rip all his guts out, he is an inch away. Bum, 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 bum. The shotgun blasts blow the boar up against the house, and he slides down the wall, completely dead, not moving.
Are you okay? No.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe you guys did that.
Give us weapons, we use them.
I'm not supposed to use them that well over high rollers, Jesus Christ. So you're just, at least allow me to gore the NPC, what the hell? So you guys...
I like all your NPCs though, I don't want to be the guy.
Malcolm pats himself. He can tell you just saved his life, and he looks at you and he
He
meets all
was
your eyes.
stunned with his favorite boar charging.
Brutus, I never would have thought he'd betray me. Why, Brutus? Why?
I'm gonna take a knife from the kitchen and cut him open because I want to have a look at him, at the pig.
So you go ahead, you go to the knife, and you walk back out wielding a knife, and you're about to stick him. What are you guys doing?
I stopped the car and went to Pedrick.
So you're in the car. You're in the started car.
I stopped the car and went to
Oh, you
Pedrick.
stopped the car. Okay.
Oh, no,
Car's now stopped.
I guess we're gonna see what he's doing, but I'm saying away from any possibility of getting hit by whatever comes flying out of that boar. Just to see exactly what he finds.
Sure. All right. So you're looking. You're going to see what the doctor comes up. What's your medicine roll?
My medicine roll is 49 and my medicine is 60. So best.
Okay. So you cut open the boar, and it's not hard because he's almost in 3 separate pieces from the shotgun blasts. You cut him open, and there is this weird black fluid inside this thing. It's not like the X-Files alien black goo that takes over people's brains. It's like that, but it's not all the blood inside this being. It's pretty much just centralized to a few locations, but you can tell this thing, whatever the infection is, the deterioration, it's throughout the entire body.
Go to the car and take a, I forgot what they're called.
You're gonna take a sample.
No, yeah, I'm going to take a sample.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and take a sample, no problem. Actually, there might be a problem. Go ahead and roll a medicine check to see how successfully you take the sample without contaminating yourself. Why are you rolling a D4 or a D6? Oh, sorry, I saw that. So 78? You're going to push that roll? Interesting. Okay, so you almost drop it and you see it coming down to the ground. It's going to explode and get all over you. Go ahead and roll. No.
Bloody hell, man. Can I push it? I'm good.
No. So you drop it, and the vial that you're trying to put the black pus in explodes, and it's about to get in your eyes, in your mouth, and you can taste it. Go ahead and roll a con roll.
Oh man, really?
Hard con roll.
83.
No.
See, you got your wish. get to?
Much like dinner, this is a whole new level of ecstasy. You've only heard tale at raves and other such party scenes of the mythical highs, and you suspect this is what an opium den might feel like. Because this is the best you've ever felt in your life. You feel invincible. You feel so strong. You feel like a god.
Am I turning into a pig?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You've never felt in better health.
Am I healed from the glass?
You kind of touch yourself where the glass would have cut your face, and there's no cuts.
Alright, I'm gonna take some of it just to have some later now. Definitely.
Go ahead and roll another medicine check.
Oh man. Let's do this.
Wow. Yes.
69!
Oh no.
Come on. That's
You go ahead and take it, but it gets all over your hand, and you're like, oh, that's not good. But you go ahead and you put it in the vial. There's no effect.
Well, it's because I'm already infected.
Was the bull acting like a young? Was the animal acting like it was young and virile? Like,
When it leaped at Malcolm, it did about 6 feet up in the air and was like a flying pig at a leap trying to gore Malcolm. This pig could have competed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to my room, honestly, and lay down and drink some more of my.
Doctor who walks off without saying a word. Malcolm's like, thank you so much. Yeah, you go sleep. Good night.
Interesting. You ought to go back and get some sleep, Malcolm. That's the rest of us, I think. Although I imagine you're going to need plenty to drink for that.
Thanks for your help. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Good God, I've never seen the animals panic like that in the middle of the night. This is truly one hell devil's work, something.
I'm not certain, but I'm also sure that was panic. Not complete panic from everything, anyway.
I'm going to say you guys are Eddie and Pendrick. You guys are still up front.
Yeah.
You see, coming up to the front of the house, one of the farmhands, the gentleman that you saw spitting tobacco earlier, he's walking towards you and he's stumbling, and you kind of hear a coming from him.
Do I shoot him?
What?
I need to do. What's he actually look like? We heard him, but what's he actually look like when we get a chance to look at him?
His eyes are wide with fear. You can see his white pupils.
Do I shoot him?
He's gonna die.
Can I please shoot him?
No. Let us figure out.
Okay, fine.
See if we can get anything coherent out of him. What he?
Can I hit him in the face with a fish?
Oh my God! Make that a medicine check too. Make that a medicine check.
A smack with the fish?
Yes.
See if you hit him right anatomy part.
Yes. That would be hilarious.
He's almost on top of you guys. He's like within 5 feet. He's like reaching out and like begging for help.
Yeah, trying to see. Maybe he's trying to choke on something or something. We'll see. Try to give him the Heimlich maneuver and see if that helps. Because trying to get out of his way of his greed.
Pendrick peels around behind him and starts giving him Heimlich. Eddie, what are you doing? Backing up.
Yeah, I'm backing up. I'll stay away from this thing.
Oh shit.
I'm not sure if Heimlich's the right thing, but if he's choking on something, which very well could be the case.
Give him a medicine roll.
Yeah, something else for me to fail. Huh? No, I'm not going to. 17.
Whoa.
He saved his life? Wow.
I'm going to say with
What
that.
did you ever done, Doctor?
I saved the sheriff. I saved the guy with the gate.
How do you know my medical license is valid? The AFA just got created, and damn it, I'm running this bitch.
Just like you had to argue that just shows that I'm right.
Alright.
So with a medicine check of 17, you realize that he's not choking on something. There is a massive amount of liquid going into his mouth. And he's choking and drowning on this liquid. So it's not something you can there's no obstruction in his throat. Your Heimlich maneuver is not doing any good. If you actually wanted to help him, you probably have to give him CPR. CPR just got invented a few days ago, so you're rough. You're not practiced on it, so you can give him a CPR check.
We'll try it.
You probably have to wake me up.
And hopefully I don't get nothing in me or in me.
I'm just
16.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you see in the moonlight as you go down to this man's face to give him CPR, his lips and his mouth are covered with black liquid. The pus of his sores inside of his mouth ooze so much black pus, it's choking him to death. So you go in and you see that and you start forcing air through his mouth, through the black pus, into his lungs. And you do so successfully. And he is getting air because you're giving him CPR. However, make a con roll.
Yeah. Here's another high roll. I called it too. 75.
The moment you call it, it becomes speed.
Seriously. So that's how the multiverse works.
Yep.
We're now living in the reality you created when you said that.
Yep.
It's like your first kiss. You feel deeply romantic and it's tingles in your stomach like butterflies.
Are you in love with him? Oh, please make him in love with him.
I can't make him in love with him.
Well, you can make him, like, infatuated.
I could, but that's not what this is.
I don't care. I'm just saying, please do.
I cannot do that because that is not what the rules
Okay, I
tell
think
me
I
to
need
do.
that bottle after all.
So you save his life. He is breathing. You pulled him through. Like it seems like the pus in his mouth has subsided a little bit. It's not oozing like it was previously, choking him to death. And he's breathing. And you feel great.
Now, is he conscious or is he?
He's right on the edge of consciousness. He he was choking and got really dizzy from the lack of oxygen. He's just kind of focusing on breathing. That's all he can do.
Trying to help him wherever his room is.
So you take him back to his shack. His shack is the most run down of all the buildings on the farm. And you throw him in there and you think he's going to make it.
Inside his guts, pulls him inside his own body.
As soon as we actually get up, I actually want to check on him anyway. Once we get up. Otherwise, let him sleep, see how that goes.
All right, so you guys all make your way back to your respective sleeping areas, pass out until the morning. Sounds good. Shit. The stream crashed. Let me fix that real fast.
Doctor, why are you so bad at healing people?
You didn't kill anybody. What are you talking about?
I said, why are you so bad at healing anyone? You just let Pendrick do your job for you.
I was in my room.
That is not an excuse. If someone's choking, you fix them.
How am I supposed to know who's choking? I'm not there.
But for some reason, you can see that there's
like a
on a pig from the barn.
I got super high.
Someone's choking downstairs.
I got super high. I don't know what you want me to say. I was like,
You're a bloody useless doctor if you can hear someone choke.
I saved 2 people you almost killed.
What's up?
No.
See what happens tomorrow morning.
David, I'm hoping I can ask you guys questions and he didn't die in the
I
night.
still have a bag.
I have a gun and the fish. Shit.
My laptop's so shitty.
As I'm the only one trying to saying shit, I'm not high. I already know what's going on.
No, this high is not good for me. This is the bad kind of high for me. All right.
It's high noon.
It's high noon some in the world.
It's high fish time.
All right. I'll keep trying to fix the stream. It's going to take me a second though. My laptop's so shitty. So you all wake up in the morning and you come back to the breakfast table. Sits you all down and there's kind of like a tension in the air. There's like a brief nod and an acknowledgement of what happened in the middle of the night. You're all like, "What really happened? Or was that just an awful night? You almost got attacked by that boar, right?" And you walk by what's left of the corpse of Brutus on your way into breakfast. In fact, I'm going to say...
Before going into breakfast, I want to check on the guy.
Huh?
I want to check on the guy before going into breakfast.
I wanted to make some medicine. Because I said I had cocaine in my bag already. So
Okay.
take some cocaine.
And...
Add some weed and mix it around.
Okay.
And then give it to the husband. He's like, here's some medicine.
Medicinal need. Oh, I like this one. This is the old...
Before breakfast, I walk straight to the doctor.
Okay.
Holding the fish.
And you give him the fish?
No, I'm holding the fish.
You're holding the fish in front of the doctor.
I smack him with the fish.
You smack Doctor Who with the fish. This is how parties kill each other.
Yeah.
This is...
It's not good.
I'm just checking
This
on
is
the
not
guy
how we
that I
all
saved
survive
the night before.
Cthulhu.
This is how we die before the monsters kill us. How we die.
Are you sure you want to smack Doctor Who in the
He's like,
face?
he's making sure. Are you sure?
Okay. Okay, so you just hold the fish menacingly in front of Doctor Who, like, you know what I could do with this, right?
Yes.
Smack it out of his hand.
Pendrick, you wanted to check on the farmhand. So I'm going to say, as you're walking in for breakfast, you look over at the shack and you see him like stumble up, and he looks weak. You know, he's like kind of hunched over, but he kind of starts limping his way over to the main house. He's going to get there after you, but he'll get there.
Alright. Now take that medicine twice a day for next week.
Oh, honey, that's so kind of you. All right. And she gives it a little nip. Oh, it's got some pepper now.
It's my homebrew.
Oh, homebrew. Oh, very nice. Very good done. What's
Still a
inside
bad
that?
doctor.
As far
He's
as
still a bad
breakfast,
doctor.
I'm gonna politely decline the food and just I'll have some of the coffee, but I'm politely declining the food.
Okay.
Do you know
You take the coffee. There's no effect. You take a sip of it. There's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it.
I'm not gonna have
it
anything
can
to
never
today.
affect coffee?
Nothing. Okay.
Should be amazing.
Coffee's pure. Coffee is life.
I take some coffee, and this like, I'm not gonna. Oh no. Is there no sugar?
Oh sure. I know we got some sugar, and she hands you like a little cup of sugar.
You know what? Wait. Can I have some? Do you have any more of your ice cream?
What's that?
Do you have any more of your peach ice cream?
Peach ice? You want some of my peach? Sure, honey. I got some peach ice cream for you. She goes over to the ice box and takes out a small scoop of peach ice cream for you.
I put it into the coffee and mix it.
Ooh, a coffee float like that. Nice. So Doctor Who makes himself a delicious caffeinated beverage. You got any questions for the Harveys before you head out for the day?
Does that happen often?
You know, I'll tell you, I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's weird, man.
What about? I saw you trying to burn. Did I see that?
I don't think he's.
Anything happen like that?
I don't have any
Other
questions
animals?
for him because I don't want to scare him any more than what they probably already are.
Oh, no, he's fine. He got some medicine for me. So he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good.
He's the worst
But I do
doctor.
tell them they need to watch the farmhand there because the farmhand got really
I'll be
sick last
honest,
night.
like doctors back in that time did make their own medicine with cocaine in it.
So you're talking about a lot of fake doctors, and you're right. There were.
Yeah, there was a lot.
This was a point in time where the American Medical Association was just invented, and they grandfathered in all the doctors who were practicing medicine before there was an AMA to say you're a doctor now. So this is that time period where there's a shit ton of fake doctors.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have fun with this. And if it's poison,
So you're turning from a
it's
doctor
not
to
my
a
fault.
charlatan. Good.
I don't look into drugs and alcohol. It's not that bad.
You're one of the people that say mercury
You
will
know
kill
that.
people.
You're a very bad doctor.
But I do
This is
tell
our
them that
character.
they need to check on that one farmhand periodically because how badly sick he was the night before.
What happened to him?
Not exactly sure, but it was he almost choked on something. And it wasn't
Oh, you saved his life. Thank you. Well, we'll keep an eye on him. We don't want him to be passing away on him. It's strange. You know, he's got a bad chewing habit, but that's what we assumed it was. We'll keep an eye on him. Thank you.
You know what? Oh, it's okay. Can I go to the pigs? Can
You want to go to the pigs?
I want to look at the pigs.
Go ahead. You make your way on out there, you go to the barn, and right when you get there, you smell a giant cesspit of shit. You look inside the barn, and there's probably a 10-foot diameter pit that's just being used as a septic pit for the pigs, just piss and shit of the pigs.
Wow, man.
Is there a
I'm
knife
gonna
in
throw that.
Is there a knife in the house?
You have a knife.
You bought the knife, never?
You cut the fish?
Oh, you're gonna make the fish?
Okay, so you have fish fillets.
I'm walking around with the skeleton of the fish now.
And you do what with the skeleton of the fish?
Just keep it.
You're just keeping the skeleton of the fish?
Are you gonna give
Can you go
what
get
do
the
with meat?
Can you
What
go
are you
get
gonna
the
do
doctor so we can go? We got stuff we gotta do.
Hey doctor, time to go.
What are you going to do with the fillets, though?
I'm going to the car, waiting for these
I
two
take
to
fillets,
meet and get over there.
and I give it to the wife, and it's like some fresh fish.
Oh, well, honey, I swear, with all your compliments, anytime you want some peach ice cream, you come on back now here. I've really enjoyed your company.
I always want some of your peach.
She kind of looks around for her husband, and she's like, oh, thank you, darling.
I do a nice little spank on the butt so you can see
Cheeks get red. So,
He's
you
gonna
guys,
get himself killed by the husband before it's over.
Hey man, she really looked for me. It's fine.
all right, so you guys start up the car, pile in, and you're back in the vehicle.
Going first to the car modis.
So,
Got a feeling they're not there.
well, Hendrick wants to make on over to the Carmoody farm. What are y'all thinking?
Oh yeah.
I'm cool with that.
The kids or the.
They're the ones that made the alcohol.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I'm gonna load my shotgun. And yes.
I second
Well,
that.
a buckshot this time.
Doctor Who's locked and loaded with the most deadly ammo he has.
I imagine we all would be by this point.
And I'm just casually holding this fish, the skeleton of a fish.
I give you one dynamite. One dynamite.
No, I don't need it.
Alright, man. Alright.
He's on dynamite withdrawals. If I just get one, I won't be able to stop. So,
No, it's not. That one's not as interesting to him as the fishes.
Just give me the skeletons of animals and I'll be good.
You're gonna be a goth character?
No, I'm just gonna attack people with the skeletons of fish.
I think he wants to be. Let's see.
It's gonna be a slapstick comedy?
What's the name of that character?
yeah, I'll show you. I want to get
Arthur Fleck, Jack Napier. What's that name now?
Who's driving?
Who is driving? Pendrick's driving. So, Pendrick, you make your way over to the Carmoody farm. What would have been a 15-minute walk is just an easy 10-minute drive.
Like a 5-minute drive. Oh, the cars are slow.
Well, I
If
mean,
it
you have
wasn't
to
for
take
the bad roads,
I mean,
yeah, that and the roads in condition.
Right, you guys are going slow, and this is really in the boonies. So, the fields in the Carmoody farm are filled with towering stalks of corn, the tallest of which are more than 12 feet high. Some of the stalks look rotten with black and green viscous liquid dropping down the stems. There's a strong, sweet smell of corruption permeating this area. The stalks seem to move constantly, even when there's no discernible breeze. The vermin that live within are bold, staring at anyone who enters the field. So as you guys are driving along the field, you guys can see like squirrels, rats. They're mad dogging you from inside the car.
Stop the car.
I'll stop it.
Fuck this squirrel. I'm gonna show him who's boss.
Yeah. Take out the dynamite and lit it and throw it at them.
You throw dynamite into this field?
Okay, maybe I want one dynamite.
No, it's too late.
You're not gonna give him any dynamite?
Maybe I want one.
Yeah, all right.
I just start driving again before they can figure this out.
Eddie's relapsed, you guys.
I'm just gonna
You
keep driving
two
before they can
dynamite.
figure whatever they're coming out.
Oh man.
Especially since now they've attracted attention, even more so than we already would have.
It's fine, it's fine. We're making friends, we're making friends.
Alright. So you guys pull on to the Carmoody property. You make your way down the road and you eventually reach a couple buildings what you assume are the properties of the Carmoody brothers. At the north end of the yard is a farmhouse. This is a 2-story wooden framed house. Out front, a large porch holds a couple of rotten chairs. A couple of rotten chairs and a collapsed wooden spring. Rotten. Rotted.
Yeah.
One of those. There is a wooden shed attached to the side of the house, which is now being used as sleeping quarters. And that's what you see, just a couple buildings you pull up. You also see a large metal, it almost looks like a silo out in front of the main building. It's not the most top-of-the-line construction. This doesn't look like it belongs on the Titanic. However, it does look functional. It looks to you like this is probably used for some kind of production. Serious production.
Probably.
Could be. It looks like
no
still.
people running around
So you
after that
see,
explosion.
there's no one running around, but when you do come down the road, they notice you. They see you coming.
I figured that, but I was just surprised they're not already outside because of that explosion.
We're gonna pretend we are liquors salesmen. I mean, we're looking to sell their liquor.
Well, down, howdy. How y'all doing? And he waves y'all down.
You're the salesman. Go. Not you. Him.
So I just drive us down there. You want to do all the talking? Go for it.
I want to check out your talk. I want to see if you get us in there.
What if I stick a dynamite?
They don't want dynamite.
He's still in the car.
Excuse me?
He's still in the car.
What was your business here?
I'm looking to buy liquor for my.
Well, you come to the right
city.
spot. How much you want? For your city? Where the hell you from? See, Slicker?
I'm from Arkham.
You're from Arkham.
Yes. Do you think you could? Do you think you can supply us with?
Yeah, sure. How much you looking to buy here?
100 gallons.
100 gallons? Well, we sell about a pint. So, do you know how many pints you want?
How
Hell,
much do you usually sell at the store?
usually we got this coming out by the barrel. We're a larger production now that we've come into some good growing season.
Really? I can see it looks good. It looks really good.
Nods of
Can we
that.
can we have a look at the production?
No.
No?
If you want our product, you can have our product, but that's where our business is going to end.
I wasn't trying to make any trouble.
At this point, you see him look around and wave over 3 guys. So now it's this guy that you just met and 3 more guys walking up.
We don't need trouble right now.
What was the trouble? I'm buying some liquor. This is a business opportunity.
Not only are you a bad doctor, you're a bad liar.
Are you really
Oh,
telling me
boy.
this in front of this guy's face?
Yes.
I get my shotgun
You
out.
guys want to sort this out and come back when you're not in front?
You did. Did you not hear what I said?
A lot better.
Did.
Get back in the damn car.
See, I understand the reasonable gentleman's over here. Yes. Now, how many barrels did you want?
See, right now we can only carry. I think probably vehicle got carried about what, 4? I mean, that's
Well, if you
right
wanted
now.
us to fill up this truck, yeah, we could probably put 4 in there. But however, if you wanted to make a deal and come back with a caravan that would be more equipped for carrying large
That would
sums,
definitely be.
I
Yeah.
want to do 100.
Right.
100 barrels.
Yes, it's a city.
All right, now you guys are making
Yeah.
more sense, and I do
would say
think
for
we
a
can
test
do
run.
business.
Yeah, it makes more
We're
off
just
of
gonna-
business
All
test
right.
runs.
I see you're a wise businessman. Definitely smart to dip your toes in before jumping in the water. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and fill up your truck now. Put those 4 barrels of whiskey in there. You take it back to Arkham, sell it. You like the supply, and I have a feeling you will. You come on back.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, howdy. We've been looking to expand into Arkham, our supply, for a while now.
Wow.
You go ahead and put her there, friend. And he holds out his hand for a handshake. Well, I'm deeply satisfied. And he nods over at the other 3 the hands, and they start loading 4 whiskey barrels into your truck. What?
Germans get 5 AFBs.
Can you look into the
Do you guys have anything else you wanted to do while you're here? Seems like you just struck a deal.
did?
The fact that they're there derails any of my thoughts because I don't want to cause issues. So
I kind of want him to sneak around.
This is why you're a bad doctor.
I'm trying to help him.
You gonna hand him some dynamite to sneak around with
No.
for stealth purposes?
He has 2.
I was trying to sell them.
let's
We're
go.
trying to make friends here.
We
We're not
have
trying to destroy their truck.
So you 2 are kind of helping the other guys load in the barrels of whiskey into the back of the truck.
And then we're going. We don't have any reason to stay here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The doctor isn't, but that's because he's a bad doctor.
All right.
We're gonna come to blows.
I'm gonna take you somewhere where they're gonna put you away for a few years, and I just have to write a note.
Sanatorium's no joke in this era.
Yeah. Do you want this? I will do it, and they will come get you. I don't have to do anything. They just have to.
Hopefully they're doing this as a
Maybe we'll go
argument
back
while they
to
get in the dang car, so we can get a move on.
All right, so I'm gonna say that Pendrick goes ahead, gives you guys a high sign, straps everything down. Let's get the hell up on out of here, and you guys move on out.
Is this? Not. I'm not asking the people, or I'm not asking the brothers. I'm asking you as a DM.
Yes.
Is this liquid's flammable?
Whiskey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is moonshine.
Is moonshine? All right, cool.
It's flammable. It's not explosive.
Well, that still works.
Yeah, it does. Depending on what you're trying to, it works really good.
Everything I was wanting to do there had people, therefore we were not doing it.
Okay, I'm gonna say, is there like a back alley or something like,
It's a farm.
Okay, like can we go around them, like just like to the?
You can sneak around through the forest. Yes. Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I want to do that, and we're gonna bring the barrels.
So you're gonna try and drive off-road with the barrels of whiskey.
No, can we just
to
go to
circle
the
around?
let's go to
You
the
probably wouldn't be
campsite.
able to.
I vote against this.
Let's go to the campsite first. We'll go back there if we need to.
I'm with that.
Some told me we're going to run across them anyway, but let's do
wanna
it on
go down
a
the
different
hill.
terms.
Did you not see that? The corruption in the film?
Why do you think we're not staying there? There's too much for the three of us.
That's why I wanted a burned film. I was just gonna let it roll down the hill.
And all it's going to do is bring the Carmodies on top of us because we were the newest ones there.
Go ahead and roll a spot hidden check. As you guys are making your way back out away from the Carmody farm, you look behind you.
I got 88. I didn't see nothing.
You don't see anything. You two, there was something else you were looking for. You two, as you were looking out across the field, you notice another man. And it's strange. It looks like the ground underneath his feet is moving. He's inside the corn, so you can barely make him out. He's like a dark blotch inside this golden field of corn. But there's something not right about it. There's like movement around his head, tiny little dots, and the ground moves below him.
They see this? I don't.
And you keep on driving by.
I'm going to make an occult roll as we're doing this. I'm not going to stop and look. I'm just going to see if
memory's
it...
sake?
Yeah. I don't intend to stay there right now. I know we're outnumbered in any and every kind of way.
Could be.
48.
48, what was that roll for?
Occult roll to see if it... Because you're saying underground in the air.
So right as you see this gentleman and as you're driving by, it clicks. That letter that you read in the library that spoke of the Sitkayoke tribe being friends to the rats and the vermin and the spiders of the field, somehow this looks familiar. Somehow the rats and the flies, they're working for these guys. They're connected somehow. You're not sure how, you're not sure why. The forces that connect these two things are growing stronger.
That's what I thought.
I wanted to burn down the place.
That wouldn't have done you any good.
What do you mean? There's a...
You don't know that.
You don't know that? Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Burning things down works great.
We blew up a house, remember? And that worked out wonderfully. We blew up a shack, and he saved our life.
Considering it seems that I'm almost willing to bet you the legends of the Sikai tribe are true, it would not have helped. That would have just pissed them off more.
We have
Especially with the
4
numbers that
shotguns with us.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3
And
versus
28 dynamite plus 2 more on them.
I hope it's enough.
Hey, you never know.
It was enough last time.
It was. Yeah.
Last time we didn't have to deal with even the animals working for them.
guys
I blew up
really
the animals, sir.
I'll blow up all the rats in this goddamn state.
And we still have fire.
If we're gonna use the dynamite, we're using all
Let's
of it.
go to the campsite, get that checked out, and check out that cave that they were talking about, as well as their excavation site. And then we'll figure out what to do from there once we have more information. Because we're going to probably end up back there. Not just because of the alcohol.
Sound like a plan?
Yes.
All right, you guys start making your way back over to where you were indicated the Rhodes camp would be.
Do I have any more flasks for the collecting? Do you have any more, what do you call those things? Those long bottles and you put a top on it?
Vials.
Vials. Do you have any more vials?
Yes, you're a doctor.
All right.
You have an infinite amount of vials.
All right, I'm going to pour the liquor into the vials and tap it down with some fabric on top.
The Carmody whiskey?
Yes.
Into the vial? Roll a dex check.
Son of a bitch.
It's not medicine.
It's not. I'm just trying to make weapons.
You're also in a bouncy car, so.
42.
That succeeds?
Yeah.
All right, so you successfully go ahead and put the whiskey inside a vial, kind of like a...
In a bouncing car where you couldn't do that with the actual stuff you were trying to get before.
Hey man, I'm amazing when it comes to
Probably should have had a disadvantage tonight. You are lucky. Already rolled it.
Alright, so I'm making 20.
20 of them? You make one.
Fine, I make
You make one. So as the doctor who is like measuring things in the back and going over bumps, you guys pull up to the Rhodes camp. And it takes you a while to find. You guys are, you're looking for it, and you know, was it here? I thought they told us it was here. It was like a mile down the road and then off to the left. And it's hard to find, but eventually you do find it. It's in the brush, and you see a truck and some collapsed tents lie a few hundred yards off the road between Dunwich and Blackwater Creek on the north end of the woods. You see that the plant life has started to grow up around here. No one's been here occupying this campsite in at least a couple weeks. That's what you immediately see.
Any signs of struggles or anything?
Go ahead and roll a SWAT hidden check.
And not me. 79.
Just looks like there's been nobody here for a while. It's weird.
Is it getting dark right now, or?
Huh?
I may as well do the same as what you did.
Go ahead and roll SWAT hidden.
78.
78? Man, I don't know who was here. I mean, I thought the students were here, but maybe they weren't. Maybe this is a different number of campers who were excavating the site.
Alright, I'll do 1, 2.
Go ahead.
Be hilarious if we all fail. That's why I'm doing it. I got 22.
22. So you look
Can I
over.
make it, can I push it? Because I want it to fail.
Go ahead and push it. That's what I thought. No, all right.
You said you were gonna do it. You better do it.
You sure you want me to fail?
Yes.
I might trip on you, and then you get hurt.
You said you were gonna do it, so you better do it.
Oh, let's
I'm not
just
gonna
continue
do it.
on with the story.
Peer pressure. Oh my goodness.
I'm not a kid
So
anymore.
you see two things. You see the scorched remains of what look to be like tools in the back of the truck. Because of your professional expertise with instruments, mostly scalpel, you know that these are probably the type of digging tools that they would use in an excavation site, an archaeological site. You see brushes, you see small, like handheld shovels. This is meant for the long, arduous work of archaeology. But in the back of this truck, it looks like someone poured gasoline all over these tools and burned them, destroyed them. You also find in some of the collapsed tents, all the tents in this area, it looks like no one's been in camping in this area. There's about 3 or 4 tents that have collapsed, and it looks like there were either couples or single individuals in these tents. A number of personal belongings, including men's and women's clothing, are scattered around inside the tents, and inside one of the tents is dried blood. Also has a few notes in them, if you want to
Yes.
pick them up.
Pick them up. Brush them off with the dry blood.
All right.
Like, I remember this scene.
So you find a piece of paper that says, "From Indian tribes of the Northeast and Nathaniel Chapman," by Nathaniel Chapman. You also find another piece of paper that says, it's actually a book, and it says, "From Mythos and Legends of Old, Massachusetts," by Oliver Stanfield. You wanna read them?
Read the back first, and then I'll read it.
Of all the people in the Miskatonic Valley, the most mysterious and feared was the Sikkayok tribe. Oh wait, I already read this to you.
Yeah.
One less sinister and undoubtedly less puzzling mystery of the Miskatonic Valley is the fate of the settlement known as Cade's Rest. Historical record shows that following the hanging of Mary Dyer of Boston Common in 1660, a group of cakers, they ate a lot of cake, fat asses, left Boston fearing persecution at the hands of the Puritans.
They ate too many cakes.
Can't afford their health care, man. All their insulin was costing too much. This group was led by the tailor, Ezekiel Cade, and included as many as 10 other families.
Well, they still gotta wear clothes even though they're
After some months of travel, they settled at the banks of the Miskatonic River, not far from the spot that would one day become Dunwich. While records from this point are scant, the folk story holds that the settlement thrived once. Cade and his followers made contact with the local Indian tribe known as the People of the Black Earth, while the tale turned to folklore is the demise of the settlement. Some stories of the earth opening up and swallowing the settlement whole. Others tell of them being snatched away by the devil himself. Even the most mundane details are contradictory, with some describing the discovery of an empty homes of the site, and others saying that even the buildings vanished. Given that there are mentions of Cade being spotted in Boston a few years later, most likely explanation is that the Simplers simply moved on, possibly spreading rumors of their own disappearance themselves to secure their privacy. Alternatively, they may have come into conflict with the Black Earth tribe and been killed. Regardless of the truth, the legend is a minor one at least. That's what you find in the tent.
Is there any, what about the book? The book?
Yes?
Wait, was that in the book?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, it's a book of myths of Massachusetts, and that one was like dog-eared.
Okay. So I read the same letter that you got from, I have right now was from the library?
Maybe. Yes?
Black Earth tribe being the Sitkoi tribe?
Yes.
Are the clothes used, or are they thrown around? Like they're searching for something?
Seems I was so oblivious I can't put my 2 cents in on that one.
that?
So since I was oblivious to that, I can't put my 2 cents into that.
I can tell you later, just in a moment.
So you see from the tent, with the dried blood in it, someone got dragged out of this tent.
I know this better.
A lot of people are getting dragged, bleeding around here. It's weird.
Must be a fun party.
Hey, every party I want to go to, I want to get dragged while I'm bleeding.
What's the atmosphere out here? You know, it's been spooky everywhere we've gone.
You feel a pressure specifically.
Same or stronger than...
Stronger. Much stronger. In fact, you can almost hear it. It's on the edge of perception. It's like a beating. It's rhythmic.
Search. I get something that represents one of them. Like one of their belongings each. Like the woman and the thing. Like that.
So you find different pieces of article of clothing, but there's nothing distinguishing about them. You just find men's clothing with women's clothing.
No zero there and all that.
You find a piece of lacy Victoria's Secret underwear that says Abigail on it.
I'm keeping it. That's mine now.
Okay, yeah. Dr. Who gives some lingerie a quick sniff and pocket
I
it.
was not going that far.
Everybody knew you were thinking it.
No.
You wanted that to happen. Don't lie, you wanted it to happen.
I did. Actually, I was trying to get proof that we came here, that we looked for them, and if they die.
Yeah, you wanted to prove we came here.
I prefer living women versus dragged away.
So that's what you find at the Rhodes camp. You look it over. That's what's there.
Man, that doctor really, he didn't really treat his wife well.
Hey, you know, sometimes you want to take your wife on safari. So you got to make sure she's comfortable.
He has a wife?
Really? Really?
So it's Dr. Rhodes and his wife Abigail. You were hired to find.
He had a wife.
Does Dr. Who ever?
Oh, kids, but no wife.
Wait a minute.
Bastards?
Yeah, that's what you're calling them. I love all my kids.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's rude of me. So that's what you guys find at the campsite. You find that there's probably some kind of kerfuffle, some kind of scuffle, and someone got hurt and was dragged away from here.
I'm gonna follow the trail.
Huh?
I'm gonna follow the trail.
You're going to look farther around the circumference of the camp?
I'm gonna follow the trail being dragged.
So you follow the trail of, there's like a few specks of blood. There's a small like trail of blood. You follow that back and it looks like it goes, say 10, 15 feet away of someone being dragged, and then they stopped. They also stop at where it seems like there's a slight impression in the ground, and after a few like seconds of looking at it, you can tell, okay, someone probably parked their car here, threw the person who was bleeding into the car, and then drove off.
Do you know which way the tracks are going?
So it has been. So you look around and you see that this entire place has plant life all over. The botany has started to come back and it's growing up, so it makes it difficult to see where these tracks are going from. You can see that the drag marks of this person and the dried blood, it's not a lot of it. There's barely any trail on the ground that you can still follow. The only reason that you could see the portion that you did is because it was collapsed under the tent.
Okay. Thank you. I go to my compatriots and explain what I just
Hey,
found.
doctor.
No,
Doctor.
I'm not answering to you.
Do you also give your kids cookies?
Yes.
Damn, a bad doctor. You're a bad doctor. You're a bad father. What else are you?
It is a medicine proven time by time.
Oh, okay.
Damn, I don't know when that's bad at everything.
You don't even know it's bad for you.
You're giving a kid cocaine.
It's this time we know it's bad. That time, did we know it was bad?
No, it was medicine still.
Yep.
Still, you're giving a kid cocaine.
It was medicine. Do you realize it wasn't kids'
Alright, how much time
medicine?
left of the day do we have?
Cocaine.
I'm sorry?
How much time left of the day do we have?
So this is a brand new day. You guys head out pretty much crack of dawn. I'd say you got here at the camp at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So you have a full day in front of you. You guys are tip-top health. You're fully recovered, locked and loaded.
Can I change that tip-top health slightly?
You want to what?
Can I change that tip-top health slightly? I need to hit someone with this skeleton.
So do we want to go to the excavation site, or do we want to go to this cave that they were talking about? Which one? We're going to both, but which one do we want to go to
Excavation
first?
site.
We're going to excellent. I thought that's where we're at.
No, we're at the
You guys are at the
campsite.
camp. So there is a camp, and then there's a dig site over here, and then there's a cave over here.
We're going to go dig site then.
Dig site.
So they started here at the camp, and then they started digging, and then they went over to the cave site last.
The camp is center, so it's the first place to go to.
Yeah. So
Excavation site it is?
you guys kind of finish gathering up the clues. You discern like, okay, well, this is probably what happened here. You pile back into the car, and you start making your way out to the dig site. And you think, well, maybe we can figure out what happened to the good doctor, figure out what happened to his wife, and bring him back for the new semester at Miskatonic University, and get him back so his students can
On the optimistic side.
get some good learning in.
On the optimistic side. It's not looking so good for the home team.
Who knows? Hey, you guys saved Harvey's life right there. That guy was about to get like cut in half by that pig.
But the amount of time that they've been gone, it's not looking so good for the home team.
It's been a few months.
Okay, so maybe still be alive.
I never said they were dead. I just said it's not looking good. I didn't say it was guaranteed.
I feel like we should go honestly back to the brothers.
Do you think they're diseased?
There might be something
You two
there.
are diseased.
Your disease.
Yes.
Everybody's diseased now.
Yeah, man.
You gotta be careful.
We're gonna have to do like a constitution check. A sanity check and a
Oh, actually, before I forget, you two, when you saw, actually it was you two. You two, go ahead and roll d6s. 4, 5, and 6 will be 1, 2, 3. You are rolling for a sanity check when you saw this guy drowning on black pus.
2.
2, so you take 2 points of sanity. 5, which is a 2. So both of you on your sanity, reduce it by 2. You are slightly shaken by seeing someone drown from black pus coming from their own pustules in their mouth. Ew. Well, that's pretty much where we're going to cut it off for tonight. Thanks for playing, guys.
Good And that's for the guy I saved?
Yeah. Yeah, you saved his life.
Yeah.
We saved 3 people's lives.
You did.
All fairness, you almost killed 2 people. I saved their lives.
Yo, almost have to give you